Domino effect. Hello. Domino effect. I apologize. The domino effect makes me late today because I was late on my tribal live. So I'm going to say humblest apologies. Friday is becoming an e-ticket adventure for me. I seem to be strapped on a ride called Friday, and it's not letting me go anytime soon. Welcome, Terri Hardin here. Ask me anything. So every Friday, Terri Hardin, that would be me. And for those of you who are joining us that are new, welcome. And for those of you who are joining us after the live broadcast, welcome. Please do me a favor and post in the comments or the comments, however you want to do it. And I will do my best to answer you. This week was a little crazy. So if you didn't get answered anytime actually with me, please give me a grain of salt, a big one, because with COVID-19 and my schedule, the weeks just don't seem to be going as planned. I work really hard, and every Sunday, what I do is I plan out the week, what I'm going to do on each day. But I'll have to say, for the past 3 months, so I plan them out in the hopes that I can get 25 to 50% done. And that's basically during this pandemic, all you can do. Now, once we get this pandemic kicked to the curb, I'm sure hoping I can change that. I used to be able to change that. But with businesses only being able to be functioning at 20, 30% at the most, my manufacturers of my illuminating hitchhiking ghost, for example, are moving incredibly slow, like molasses in January. And there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just keeping on them. And the thing that I've really got to keep on them with is quality control. More quality control is going into these ghosts than I want to say. And even being said, a couple slipped through. So I'm working so hard to give you a quality experience. But should that quality experience fall short, just, reach out to me and we'll do our best to fix it. Okay. So you notice on my little thumbnail today, I talked about Ted Lasso. Have you seen this show? It's exclusive right now, I believe, to Apple TV, but it's bar none, flipping brilliant. Okay. It's nothing short of brilliant. I don't watch sitcoms. First of all, know that. But once in a while, and often, because I vote for the Screen Actors Guild, certain things are nominated. And then between now and the end of March, I have to watch everything that the Screen Actors Guild has nominated and make my choices as to best actor in a motion picture, best actress, in Screen Actors Guild, it's worded a little differently. Best performance by an actor in a motion picture, best performance by an actress in a motion picture, best ensemble cast. That's the way the Screen Actor Guild work. They don't really do like best picture and all that sort of thing. They do best ensemble in a motion picture. And then they do television and comedy. So this is where Ted fits in, Ted Lasso. And this is the reason I put, and if you read the thumbnail, it says heart and kindness wins out all the time, over anything. And this is why I posted this today, because I really want you guys to get this. I really want to share this with you today, because during the pandemic, we are going through all kinds of emotions. And again, I'm Terri Hardin. This is the quiet little Terri chat. Come in from the cold reality, sit by the fire, and hear some stories. And I'm about to tell you a story that has feet in that cold reality, okay? And this is Ted Lasso. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. When you can see this show, I want you to see it. And I want you to see all 10 episodes. A little facts about Ted Lasso. After I think it was after the 5th episode. Maybe it was after the first episode or the first 5 minutes. Anyway, 5 plays it in there. They renewed the series. And it's because it's so fantastic. Okay. So I watched it, and Ted is really like me. But these writers on Ted Lasso said it better than I say it. Okay. There's a sequence in there. And one of the things that I want you to know is Walt Whitman the amazing Walt Whitman, had a quote, and the quote was, "Be curious, not judgmental." Be curious, not judgmental. So Ted says in the thing, Ted says, for years, there were people who belittled me, and made fun of me, and all his life they underestimated him. And this is me. They underestimated me too, right? So for years, people underestimated, but what they weren't is curious. Not a one of them was curious. Okay. They thought they had me all figured out. And Ted says the same thing. They really thought they had me all figured out. They were never curious, right? And so let's talk about you. Is this you too? Did somebody take a look at you just because maybe your hair is different, or you march to a different drummer, you're a nerd, whatever you are, that you have embraced? Were there people out there that underestimated you, that weren't curious? They just made a judgment about you and they didn't even talk to you. This is all my life, guys. This is all my life. This has been happening. So when I saw this on Ted Lasso, I was like, oh, these writers are saying it's so much better. And I wanted to share it with you today before we get into the AMA. And by the way, you can ask your questions right now in the chat, as well as my dear friend Leo Holzer has given me some questions to filter through in case, you may not know what to ask. Ask me anything. Quickly Google Terri Hardin and you'll get a plethora of things you can ask. Okay. Be curious, not judgmental. Okay. All right. So they judged everything. These people, whoever they were, the bullies, you can give them any kind of label you want, but they judged everything you did, but they also judged everything everyone else did. They just spent their time judging. Yeah. They weren't curious. They weren't curious. They never asked you. They never walked up to you. They never decided to get to know you. I mean, this is my life, guys. This happens to me all the time. So this is the thing that is amazing. So I wondered why people behave this way. And then I realized that, that them underestimating me, them underestimating you, had nothing to do with you. Them underestimating me had nothing to do with me. It was something that had to do with them. And you remember before, if you've listened to my broadcast before, how I talked about bullies. The bullying seems to be more about the bully than you. They're kind of fighting something and they're looking for someone to project it on. And unfortunately, that can be you. That was me often because my hair was up in the air all the time. You remember, right? So what I realized with them underestimating me had nothing to do with me. Them underestimating you has nothing to do with you. 9 times out of 10, maybe once in a blue moon it does, but it doesn't. So here's how you know they weren't curious, okay? If someone was curious and they came up to you, and I'm saying some of them do. Some of these people won't just judge you and decide wrap you up and put you in a box. If they're curious, they ask you questions over here in the comments. If they're you like that segue? If they're curious, they're going to ask you questions. And if they're not, they're not. But if you're curious, they could ask you questions, which brings me to a story. Okay. So if they were curious, they would ask you questions. Many of you know that maybe I shouldn't assume that you guys know that I was one of the first programmers of Talking Mickey Mouse. How many of you know that? The Talking Mickey Mouse that's in the parade that his mouth moves. I was on the initial team that studied and did that. Yeah. And I'm just looking at an album here to see if it's in my favorites, because it would sure be easier for me to pull up me with Talking Mickey Mouse if I was smart enough to put it in my favorites. That's not saying I'm smart enough to put it in my favorites, but I was hoping I was. Doesn't look like I did. Rats. Rats. While I talk to you, I'm going to see if I can find a picture so I can show you while I'm telling you. But I was asked to come and do Talking Mickey Mouse. There was a company that I didn't see Nate today. I just all of a sudden, sorry, I digress. I didn't see Nate, and I was thinking about that, just flashed through my head that I didn't see him today. But let me see if I can find me doing my Talking Mickey Mouse. And if I can, I want to share it with you. If I can't, I'm going to see if it's in another album. But anyway, I was flown to Las Vegas, of all places, because the woman called me up and she said, I'm sick of guys puppeteering this Mickey Mouse head. I want a woman. Now, was a woman any better? Who knows? She was grasping at straws. She had 3 male puppeteers come through and tell her pretty much that this puppet wasn't working properly and that she had to fix it, that she and her husband had to fix it. So here's how it works. You had Jim Henson Company bid on the Talking Mickey Mouse and bringing it to reality, okay? This is about 15 years ago, guys, when there was no little chip, okay? But what they did was they went to 3 people and they asked for 3 bids. Well, the lowest bid, that's the way some people work. It's not always the smart way, but the lowest bid ended up, and I'm still looking. The main reason I really like to show you this Talking Mickey Mouse, if I can find him. But what happened was that this company, this little company in Las Vegas, husband and wife, had built this Talking Mickey Mouse. And there was a problem with it. It wasn't functioning. You put a puppeteer in, they were doing their thing, and it wasn't working right. Okay. I may have told some of you this story, but what happened was they called me up and they said, and I just don't see it. So I'm going to try one more thing here to see if I can find it. And if I can't, then I'm going to have to say it and just tell you the story instead of sounding a touch distracted. I'm going to look, though, and see if I see it. Because I should have been prepared for it because I knew I was going to tell you this story. But like I said, this time has been really strange and I don't see it. But I'm going to look in here too and see, but I don't know that I'm going to be so fortunate as to find it because it's a little challenging. Wait, it might have gone in with Godzilla. No, it did not piggyback on Godzilla. No. Okay. All right. Well, I'll just tell you the story. And then next week, ask me if I found the picture and I'll show you the picture. Okay. Because I really do want to show you the picture of it. But anyway, so I was flown to Vegas. A real dear friend of mine said he had worked on it and that they were very difficult to work with and don't do it. But I did it anyway. Here's why. Not that I don't trust the friend who told me this. Very reliable friend. But they also told me Disney doesn't pay well, and Disney doesn't a lot of times. But there's a lot of other perks that Disney gives as an Imagineer that have nothing to do with money. And I had a great time there. So what I'm saying is don't embrace that book. You know, sometimes there are things better than life than money. I mean, not, you need money to eat and to pay your Visa card bill. But the reality is that there's other things that you can do with that. Okay. So I agreed to go. And when I went there, I met this husband and wife team, very sweet people, very kind people, but they were very frustrated because they said that they had all these professional puppeteers. They picked top of the line. Thank you. And they picked top of the line puppeteers and none of them, I'm going to stop. Okay. Cause this is just bad. This is bad, not polite. So I'm going to be polite and move forward. But, they said that, they had top Jim Henson puppeteers and none of them could make this thing work. So they sat me down in front of the Talking Mickey Mouse head and it was a joystick like I'm used to with the Henson team. And it was a Waldo, which I'm used to the Jim Henson team. Okay. So all looked good. The challenge came when I went to make Mickey talk, which is with a puppeteer. Any of you who's a puppeteer, this is what makes the character talk. This movement makes him talk. This movement, okay? This movement creates the expressions, eyes or brows or happy, sad, whatever, in the case of the country bears, for example. So when I went like this in Las Vegas, Mickey went like this. I'm going to take my glasses off so you can see it a little better. Mickey went like this. Now that doesn't work. And when I did this, Mickey went like this. Well, no wonder the puppeteers couldn't do it. Because what are you doing? You're working against the grain. Many of you have fur babies. You know, when you brush your dog in the opposite direction, or your kitty, against their fur, that's going against the grain, which is a little rougher than if you pet your kitty or your dog in the direction that the fur lays. So this making the mouth move and this making the eyes move is against the grain. You can't do that. You cannot do this. So this is what I told them. And the guy said, I'm not going to change it. That's what he said to me. Okay, so that's where the other puppeteers were saying he wasn't flexible, because he said, look, it takes a lot to change what you're asking. Because I said to him, I said, I need the mouth here. Okay, the mouth has to be here. The eyes and brows and everything else, expressions, need to be here in the Talking Mickey Mouse. Now, this is Mickey Mouse phase 1. If you guys have ever seen Mickey Mouse in the parade, you know he does it all by himself. That's because in those 15 years, all of this went woo, into a little chip that someone could program by doing this and then insert into the Mickey Mouse head. And during the parade, he can sing and he can blink and the performer makes the head move. Okay. Isn't that lovely? Ah, progress, technology. Just like a computer this big, we remember back in the day in the garage by a group, the Microsoft gang, now is small in a phone like this, right? A whole computer is in here. So that's what I'm talking about. You just wait. Or my ghosts going from a disc battery, which would drive me insane, to AAAs where anyone can find. But that's my point. So we're winding the clock back and I am doing this. And I said to the man, you've got to give me this for the mouth or I cannot help you. And maybe this is where women would work. I don't know. But I just looked him square in the eye and said, I cannot make Mickey talk if you don't give me this to make Mickey talk. Okay? And they just stared at me and they said, and he crossed his arms, you know, this mechanic, and said, I'm not doing it. And I said, okay, you might as well book me to go home. Just send me back to LA because I can't help you. Why? Because as a puppeteer, this is what we learn. As a puppeteer, this is our instrument, if you will. You've ever heard people acting saying, refine your instrument. Well, this is my instrument as a puppeteer. It makes no sense for me to unlearn what I have learned. Don't unlearn what you have learned. Sometimes you must, but not in this case. Thank you, Yoda. This case, you must understand what is it that is the foundation of your puppeteering, and it is lip sync. Right? Exactly. So I said no. And he waited because he thought, you know, here we are, you know, doing this head to head. And I said, I am not being difficult. What I am doing is I am telling you what I can and can't do. And you tie my hands if you don't make this happen. And so he looked at his wife, who had big round puppy eyes, kind of, please. And he then said, if I do this, can you make him work? I said, yes, I can make him work. You switch those things and I can make him work. He said, guaranteed? And I said, I promise. So they took me to my hotel, and the next day he had switched them. And of course, I made Mickey talk. I made him say, I programmed him okay, through a system that was not like the Big One system, because that's a Henson patented system, but it was a system very close, okay? So I programmed the face to say, you need me. So I would go, you need me, you need me, you need me. So that's what I did with Mickey, and I kept saying it. You need me, you need me. Why? Because it really made the mouth exercise. It made the face exercise, okay? And we need to dazzle with Talking Mickey to get Disney to move to the next level. And these two people, this is what they wanted to have happen. Well, they were pretty happy. Now, here's where the judgment comes in and not being curious, okay? Okay, are you ready? So remember I said, many will judge you, and not everyone who judges you is a bully. They just make assumptions about you, okay? They just do. And they never ask you a question. I cannot get over how many times people don't ask me questions. They just assume I'm a certain way. And they just start spouting off. And I could name a ton of names, but I won't. I won't embarrass people like that. But the point is they made an assumption about me, and they never asked a question. And here's what they said. We're so excited that you did this. We're ready to present it to Disney. So we're going to fly over to Walt Disney Pictures, and we're going to perform. And we're so excited because we're going to perform. You're going to perform right in front of, wait for it, Roy Disney Jr. You'll get to perform between Roy Disney Jr., but we're cautioning, we're telling you, Terri, do not speak to Roy. Do not address him. You are to come in and do your job and be quiet, because the last time it happened, a puppeteer threw us under the bus and we nearly lost the contract. So what we're saying to you is, don't say anything to Roy Disney. I told you I was an Imagineer, right? Well, guess one of the people I worked a lot with? Roy Disney. But mine is not to push my agenda at this time, okay? They asked me not to talk to him. They told me their dilemma and their pain. You pick your battles. But what did they do? They judged me. Can you think of an incident of your own where this has happened to you? Where someone starts to talk to you about something that if they would just ask you a question, you could save them a lot of airtime. Really? Yeah. So the day comes when we're at Walt Disney Pictures and we're actually in a room where the dwarfs are. If you've been in Burbank, you've seen that all the dwarfs are holding up the roof at Walt Disney Pictures. It's actually pretty cool. My friend Valerie says they are really off model, but I digress. The dwarfs, I mean. But anyway, so we're in one of those rooms. I'm set up. I'm practicing. You need me. You need me. You need me. You need me. Okay. And I'm all set up. Mickey's head is in place. His little bow tie is in place. He's facing where Roy is going to be sitting. And in walks Roy Disney, cigarette in his hand. If any of you have known Roy, you know the cigarette is always in his hand. He puts it out. He sees me and Terri Hardin. And what do you think they did? How the heck are you? I didn't know you were here. What are you doing here? And he walks over, he puts a cigarette out because he knows I'm allergic. And he said, shakes my hand, chum, chum. And I said, I'd like to introduce you to the people who built the Talking Mickey. I'm here to perform it today. Here are the people that are going to be, who made it, who built it. And I think you'll be very happy. That's what I said. Because we take the high road. It's good to take the high road. Don't throw them under the bus. Let's not be like them. Let's be above them. Yeah? So that's what I did. I said, let me introduce you. And then I sat down and I performed Mickey Mouse. Hi, Roy. What's happening? And he loved it. He absolutely loved it. And he went over and he said, nice job. And he shook their hands and they were completely gobsmacked, like, he said, we'll talk. He said, I'll be in touch and we'll move to the next level. And as you all know, if you have seen a parade with a talking Mickey Mouse head in it, he kept his word, as did the rest of the Disney company. But here's what happened after Roy left. Terri, keep it real. And thank you, Roy. And he walks out. And they turn to me. They're like this. Terri, you know Roy Disney? Yeah. Why didn't you tell us? Y'all didn't ask me. You didn't ask me. You weren't curious. No, I didn't say you weren't curious. I'm saying you weren't curious here for this Ask Me Anything today. Okay? So that's why on my thumbnail you saw Ted Lasso, because Ted Lasso and the writers of the show, this amazing show, every actor, every writer, every participant has come together to make an amazing show that we really need to see. So by hook or by crook, guys, I want you to do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Any way you can see this show, you need to see this show. The minute it pops up, I want you to watch it, and I want you to loyally watch every single episode. There's 10. You will love it. It will make you feel warm and fuzzy. And it is beautiful. It is beautiful. Just, it is amazing. So this is why I opened with this today. Okay. This is why I said, I've been kind of talking about this for 26 minutes because it's that important. Okay. Walt Whitman, be curious, not judgmental. All right. Put that somewhere up in your house. And understand if someone is judgmental of you and not curious, you'll know why now, okay? You'll know why. People who underestimate you are not curious, they're judgmental. Yeah! That being said, one more thing before we get to your questions and Leo's questions. Warning for those who are just tuning in, or those of you who have never been on one of my lives, this can go 2 to 3 hours. So do not feel like you have to have your body nailed to the chair unless you want to. You can always come back and listen to it. Meanwhile, I'm working on highlights so that soon you'll be able to click into a playlist in my YouTube channel and just get the highlights of this, okay? Not the in-between stuff, okay? So I'm working to make it more efficient to you. But during the pandemic, I have solemnly committed to going at least 2 hours, sometimes 3, because people, many of you out there, need this. And I thank you for letting me know that you needed it, okay? Now we're going to get onto another subject really quickly and then off to your questions, all right? Deal? The giveaway. Ba-ba-ba. If you joined me on Monday, I tried to show you what was in the giveaway and I couldn't find it. You remember? And the last Friday, I did the same thing. I couldn't find it. Sometimes I'm a nut. So today I found it. So let me tell you about this giveaway. I'm going to cut to the giveaway. There you go. These are some dinosaur things that I came across, and you have been writing me and sharing with me some wonderful dinosaur. You're so happy dinosaurs is on. You're so thrilled that you get to see it, share it with your kids, whatever your story might be. These are some things I want to give away to you if you email me, you message me, however you can, a story of your favorite dinosaur experience. Whether it's now, whether it's with your kids, whether it happened when you were a kid. Share something with me that touched your heart about why you love dinosaurs, or what a nice, fun story. Maybe you got together with your friends. Maybe it's helping you during the pandemic, whatever it's going to be. And these are authentic buttons from the 90s. I don't know if it says 90s, but I can assure you they don't exist anymore. And they came from the 90s when I did this show. The calendar is from 1993. And these are from 1992. Okay. This is an Adventures magazine announcing, hey, dinosaurs is coming. And then this is a TV guide. Many of you may not know what this is. This is for people who we didn't have things like Google and streaming TV and all of that. This had a listing of TV shows and that you could, what was going to be on and stuff. It's a little bit yellow, but it is in mint condition. And it is from 1991. April 1991. So, and look, it's nice. See, I don't even break the back of it. See, this says May 3rd, April 27th to May 3rd, 1991. Oh, I should put it right side up so you can see it. There it is. Right there. So anyway, I want to have a giveaway. When I see enough stories, I'm not quite sure. I'd like it maybe to be the end of the month, maybe before April 1st, we can give you these things. But if you're interested, just write a little story. Make sure you send it to me in a message, or you send it to me, email it. You can go to terrihardin.com and let me, there we go. Go into my banners. There you go. Here we go. Terri@terrihardin.com. That's my email. You can write to me and tell me your story. I'm going to pick a couple and do the giveaway, and I'll mail them to you. Okay? So I just thought it would be nice to share with you. I share all the time with my people on my Patreon page, but I wanted to also share with you guys. If you're interested on going to my Patreon page, here it is. $5 a month. You get an early Facebook Live like this. It happens before I do this one. And every Wednesday we do a Zoom call. And it's a lot of fun. So there you go. So there it is. So again, the giveaway is here. Okay. The giveaway is right here. And we're looking for dinosaur stories. Okay. Or if you loved Baby Sinclair, you can talk about why. If you loved, across the board. Okay. All right. Cool. I'm so happy I found them. And then we'll periodically try to do that for you guys on both YouTube and Facebook. And then in the tribe, we do it pretty often too. So anyone, you can talk to a tribe member and they're all going to tell you the same thing, that I do this often. Okay. All right. So let's go over and see what you guys have to say. And then we'll pop over and I will filter it with some of the questions from Leo Holzer. So Leo, that's how it's working today. And thank you for your questions. I supplement what I am thinking about with what you have in mind. And I'm very, 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 very grateful to you doing this question sheet. And I'm also grateful for you guys who are posting in the comments. Everything. So before we get started, I'm going to do myself a little favor. I'm going to cut over to camera 3. You can see I'm kind of set up. Wait, let's move that water bottle out of the way. That looks framed pretty good. Okay, I'm going to come over here. And I'm going to grab my teapot. I'm hoping that it's... I'm going to grab my teapot and I'm going to pour myself a cup of tea so that we can get ready. And I'm all set for the stretch. My friend Dr. Deanne Shanley, she came up with the idea of the warming cup. But when you go about 3 or 4 hours on a Friday or a Monday, and that's counting the Terri's Tribe, my Patreon group, and this one, it's good to have a pot, which was also Deanna's suggestion. So I just pour the water, and this is a beautiful little pot, isn't it? Yeah, it's very good. There we go. It's a great little thing. I'm going to cut back over to 1. Hi. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go and see what all you have to say. I'm really happy to see more YouTube people popping in, and it's a nice little mix of all of you guys. And I love diversity. I love YouTube and Facebook and everybody together. So that's what I call our diversity group. You may have noticed also, I should point out, that my hair has been done. Hair salons are open now, and my hairdresser seems to be a lot happier about it. He actually put me in a larger room. Nobody else, just me and him still. But it had sunshine coming in, and the door was open, and there was fresh air. It was a really nice experience because to do my hair takes about 3 hours to get it done. Yeah, it takes some time. This all has to be twisted tight, and then this, yeah. I'll show you some pictures of how he does it if you're interested. I think I'm going to post behind the scenes as well. But anyway, let's get to you. Shelby says, good morning. Good morning, Shelby. Bonnie, wait, I missed you, Bonnie. Good morning. I've been waiting for Friday for what feels like 2 weeks. Was your week like mine, Bonnie? Oh, man. Were you feeling like you were walking through rice paddies all week? Man, I'm with you on that, my friend. Whew, what a week it was. Then we have Shelby's good morning. Good morning, Shelby. And of course, Bonnie is saying hi to Shelby. Shelby's saying hi to Bonnie. I love that you guys talk to each other. It's wonderful. Here's Liz Reed. Here's the amazing Liz Reed. Hello, Liz. And it feels good to be welcome. Good morning, Terry and all. Hello, Bob Burdine. Yes, Rose Burdine, we learned on the tribe today, Rose Burdine got her first of the vaccine, and we're very happy to hear that. So, you know, we want all of us to get it, but we kind of do a little happy dance every time someone gets it. And Angie says, hello to Terry and friends. That's so nice of you. And look who's in the house, Joel Christopher Payne. Hello and good morning. And Chuck. Good morning, Chuck. I probably should talk to you later, Chuck, because I don't think I have you on an official. I think you said with the Hitchhiking Ghost, and this is for everybody, which is why I'm talking to Chuck right now. Let's pop back over to Chuck right now. If you ordered a set of illuminating ghosts, there's only 5 going out per month. Many of you have been so sweet and said, I can wait. But I think now what I'd like to do, so I'll be reaching out to each and every one of you as to months I have and what month you'd like, okay? I think we're going to book those months so I know who gets what when, okay? January and February have gone out, and March is about to go out. It's full. All 5 people have picked that month. And then I think April, all 5 people have picked that month. But when we go May, June, July, August, those months are still up for grabs. So Chuck, I think I'm going to reach out to you and you can pick a month, okay? Anyone who hasn't picked a month, I'll be, reaching out and seeing what month you want. All right? And I have a few available. So if you want a illuminating ghost or a black light ghosts, hit me up and I'll tell you all about them, okay? All righty. Morning, Deanna. And as I said, Deanna's the one who's got me my tea stuff going on here. There we go. While I'm thinking of it, I'm going to just make it here. And that way, when I need to drink it, here it is all waiting for me. There we go. Good. Yay. Okay. Yes, Dennis, it has been a while since you joined us. Welcome. It's good to see you again. And always a pleasure to see people come back and pop in. Thank you. Hello, May. How are you, my dear? And here are the theme park gals. Who did I talk about this morning? They're doing the live tonight. Look at this. They decided to actually put it in the comments for you guys. So the theme park gals, and they are doing a live tonight. And what do I think about California opening so quickly? They're not, ladies. They're not opening this quickly as we, have you seen Texas? Have you seen Florida? They've gotten rid of the mask rule. So we're still trying to be as cautious as we can. Okay. And as have you seen, Disneyland is not opened yet. So we're taking our time. But what is cool is that for the first time, we're going to be in the red tier, if we're not already. You guys may know something I don't. I have not seen the news. But if we're in the red tier, that means indoor dining as one thing. That means exercising indoor at workout centers and spas. Oh, my goodness, that's so good. Okay. So we're on our way. We just have to be careful. We have to be cautious, and we have to be cognizant of wearing a mask and social distancing. And please do it. I see all over where people are not. And this could go backwards. We know, guys, we've been there. We take 3 or 4 steps forward and fly back about 10. So we'll approach with caution. We'll be careful and continue to get that vaccine. I'm actually too young still and am pretty healthy. So I'm, so it's the one time you kind of go, rats, I'm healthy. But the reality is you're happy, you're healthy. It's just you'd like to get the vaccine sometime soon. Vaccine doesn't mean you're immune to giving it to other people. So please don't make it about yourself. Make it about other people. Okay. But getting back to the theme park gals, I'm hoping, ladies, that you show us the Star Wars Depot, because you put it on your event package. So don't make it clickbait. Be sure we see the Star Wars Depot, okay, tonight. And I will definitely tune in because I'm dying to live vicariously through you gals and see the depot. Okay? All right. That's Terri's caution. We got to do what we say, right? Yep. I'm loving the story with Roy. Thank you, Bonnie. And Bonnie, can you see in your own self, can you think of a story or an idea or a situation where this happened to you? I think all of you can, where someone has judged you and never spoken to you and just made a decision about you because they weren't what? Curious. Exactly. So this Ted Lasso, I used to always, people would say, what is your talk about when I speak publicly? And what I realized is Ted Lasso says it's the best. It's about being curious, not judgmental. It's about people who have been judgmental on people like me, only to find a bit of egg on their face, if you will, because they did not ask me questions. So there you go. And I'm sure you can put that in your wheelhouse. You can think about a situation where it did the same for you, right? That somebody made a judgment about you, Maybe they started talking to you like you didn't know how to paint, draw, do numbers, crochet, knit, didn't know anything about orchids, didn't know anything about Disney, didn't know anything. You fill in the blanks, right? Right. Ask the question. Theme park gal said, I tell it like it is. Yeah, I do. Sometimes that can get you in trouble, though. So you want to tell it like it is, but be aware of the people around you. Try to be as kind as you can. It doesn't always work for me, which is why I'm saying this right now. Okay. Be as kind as you can in the circles, okay? We have seen many actors and many people say things they regret later because the mouth opened before the brain kicked in. Which is why I say read your posts a couple of times before you post them. Read your emails the same way because they can't see you and your expression to see if you're being mean or not. And that's a drag. That's what I say. I can't say it any other way. That's a drag when you don't get to share face to face, and I miss it. And I love when I get to see someone face to face, even if it's 10 feet apart, So yeah. So just being able to walk into my mother's convalescent hospital lobby, everybody else, stayed away. But just to be able to do that and see my friend Creasy 6 feet apart. Oh my gosh. It was just like, oh my God, my long lost sister. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of my sister, I got to call her later. So thank you, theme park gals, for saying that. Indeed, says Shelby. Angie says, I could listen to these stories all day, every day. I laugh, smile, cry, and all because of you. Thank you. Thank you, Angie. That's so sweet of you to say. Did you get your pin, Angie? Angie ordered a blacklight glowing ghost pin. So want to make sure. Let me know. All you guys I mailed to. And if any of you have not got the mail yet, that's because today or tomorrow, depending on what Friday has in store. Depending on what Friday has in store, I'll either get the mail out today or on Saturday. And I have a marvelous postman who is so sweet to pick up my stuff and put it in his truck and take it if the post office makes me nervous, because there are times, Mondays and Fridays, Friday's not as bad, but Mondays, oh my goodness, it can be very scary at the post office, very dangerous for someone who's still not vaccinated and living with someone who's high risk. So I've got a postman that's just a doll baby. I just set it out there and I ask him, and and he does it for me. So, and then also my postmaster general told me I can call to have it picked up, which is just so wonderful. Thank you, USPS, for doing that. But, and I really appreciate it. And I will do that should I need to. I may have to do this next wave because I got a lot being mailed. Yes, Bonnie, be curious, not judgmental. And that's Walt Whitman. Okay. So you want to put that somewhere, or you want to embed it in your brain so that if someone is judgmental of you, your work, or whatever, you'll say that. Wow. There's a game that you can play. Okay. My husband is the one who told me this game, and it's really kind of fun. When I was first dating my husband, he was my boyfriend, and I would go to parties. A lot of people would sit me with a group of people and ask me to tell stories. And I would tell stories, but I would never ask the people. I didn't judge the people, but I never, early in our dating, I never asked the people about them. And my husband said, when you're at a party, it should be a conversation, meaning you speak, but they get to speak too. And he said, you're talking too much when you don't ask 3 things about them. Okay. Now this is live. Feel free to tell me 3 things about you. But if we were in person, believe me, I'd be asking you about you. Okay. Here, it's a little different, but I'm always thinking I want to learn about you. On my Patreon page, I beg people to do a spotlight because I want to know more about them. But in the beginning, I would sit like a storyteller and tell stories and then leave. Well, now my husband said, next time you go to a party, make sure you learn 3 things about the person you're with. And you'll know you're listening more than you're speaking. 2 ears, 1 mouth. You've heard that, right? So I do. But what's fun is if you're someone who is like me, where I have a long list of achievements, a lot of times I'll get someone I'll introduce, hi, I'm Terri Hardin. They'll say, hi, I'm whatever their name is. And they'll start to tell me all of their achievements, and I'll be nodding. And I'll go, wow, that's amazing. I did this. Wow, that's incredible. Oh my God, I did it. That's wonderful. And then they'll say, it was great to meet you, and walk away. Okay. Never asking me anything. Here's the thing you have to resist. Okay. You'll find yourself bubbling up inside and saying, I got to tell them about me, because your favorite subject is yourself. Right. So it bubbles up, but you got to push that down let them speak. And the goal is to see if they will ask you, tell me about yourself. And 9 times out of 10, they don't. They don't. They walk away never knowing who you are, what you're about. You are the great secret. And it's kind of fun. I found it very fun, because I'm not Michael Jackson or a Kardashian or someone whose face is on a billboard, so you know who I am. So if you want to tell me all about you and that makes you happy, I'll smile and nod. And then if you go away, I'm okay. But you'll find that sometimes it wells up and you'll start to ask it, why aren't they asking about me? Why are they? Don't worry about it. It's kind of a fun game. So you might want to play that game. And then if you're with me, watch out, because I could be playing that game with you. It's fun when I give people this kind of secret to the game, because then we do have actual conversation. We ask about each other and we have this conversation. Makes it much more entertaining, doesn't it? Even when I speak at an event, I want to know about people. I'll ask how many here have done this, how many have heard me talk before, which seems a little narcissistic, I know, but that way. And I can say, what did you, I'll say, what did you think? And they get to talk. It warms people up, makes people feel good to have you talk about them as well. And I like learning about you guys. So So yes, this is kind of a fun game. So Bonnie's right. Be curious, not judgmental on all aspects. Words to live by, says Shelby. Absolutely. And if you're someone that, is at the other end of the judgmental, not the curious, you'll know now. It'll be nice. Love the puppeteer story. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you so much. Fits, doesn't it? Love you, Saucy Pants, says Janny. And now, Janny, being a painter, and on my Terry's Tribe this morning, I talked about that I'm about to embark boom, 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 into painting. And I'm actually taking a class. And I don't, if Joel's still on here and Janny's still on here, they'll know what I'm talking about. I don't necessarily agree with how the teacher's teaching me, but don't tell the teacher how to do it. Be a good little student, be teachable, and learn. Because here's the thing. If you do that, then what happens is something might break free in your brain, even if you know how to draw, okay, or you know how to paint. If there was something about this person that you wanted to learn from them, they must have had something that drew you to them. So give them a chance. Now, full disclosure, I'll be sharing a couple of things that I'm doing because I want you to see my struggles as well as my successes. Whenever you learn something new, you're going to be having those challenges, right? But I draw well. Okay, so let me just point out one thing. She talks about doing a portrait, and she talks about taking a photo and ways to transfer some of the key elements of that photo onto the canvas so that you nail the likeness, okay? Now, some might think that's cheating, but not really, okay? A lot of people who do posters for the film industry, for the movie industry and stuff, they use what's called an overhead projector, and they project the image of the person, and then they illustrate over it, do the sketching over it. So it's the same thing, just to nail it quickly. And a lot of times they do that because they got to do it really fast, right? So this is what this portrait artist is trying to teach people to get it right out of the gate. Here are some of the shortcuts you can do, not cheats, shortcuts you can do. Because isn't it right? And I'm sure Janny will agree, and Joel will agree. Even if you were to transfer the entire portrait as a drawing onto your canvas, the painting still needs to be done, and that's when I'm going to see how that interpretation works. I'm very excited about it, and I'm using myself as my guinea pig. I mentioned this in the tribe. I'm using myself as the guinea pig because I have me live and I have me as a photo. I also won't complain if it doesn't look like me. I'll give myself a grain of salt. Good morning, Rose Burdine. Congratulations on your first vaccine. Hey, that rhymes. Good morning, Rose Burdine. Congratulations on your first vaccine. That's kind of cute. Hey, look, they make a book that tells us what to watch and when. Earl said, yes, they did. And Michael, I hear a little sarcasm. Are you being sarcastic? I love it. Forgive me for eating in front of you. I usually do this on a Zoom call, but my husband insists that I make sure I keep my energy up by eating, and I don't get breakfast before I announce unless I get up at 5. And today I wasn't into getting up at 5 in the morning. There you have it. That's funny. That's funny, Michael. The theme park gals, you're an inspiration to the theme park gals. The theme park gals are who I live vicariously through. I don't always comment on their videos because I'm kind of listening to them rather than watching them while I'm doing other stuff. But I really do love their work. And like I said, I won't go to downtown Disney right now. I don't have the vaccine. B, I have a very high risk husband. And so that is not on my agenda. I'm very careful in my travels, very, very careful. And yeah, so this is because we don't want to have those challenges happen. So that's why I do it. Love the Stay Puff in the frame. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is from my friend Diane Embaum. Isn't he cute? She found him and she gave him to me as a Christmas gift, and he's just adorable. You guys are always giving me something cool. I've got pins and buttons and all kinds of cool things. And then I think, no, that might not have been from Diana. If you gave this to me and I'm doing it wrong, just forgive me. I'm going to blame it on Friday. Friday's a rough day. And then also this is a Remy that's in the frame too. Isn't he cute? And he has a magnet, so you can, he'll stick on your shoulder and travel with you and everything. He likes to go places. But I put him by the microphone just to cheer me on and say, "You got this, honey. Don't be sad. Don't you in a bad mood. Everybody here will put you in a good mood." That's what Remy always says. Everybody will put you in a good mood. Just go live like you promised. And so he, they both sit there and Ray encourage me to go on when I'm in kind of a mood like I was when Friday started to mess with me before I even went on, But then they're right. These guys are right. They are absolutely right, as they have let me know that you guys are always going to make me feel better. And that's so true. Shelby says, have you heard about the Puppet Tier podcast with Adam? Obviously I haven't. And the Puppet podcast with Carolyn Brainerd Dion, the latter of which is interested interviewing you. I'm more than happy to do that. Just let Carolyn reach out to me, and I'm more than happy. And no, I've not heard those podcasts, but I'm always interested in podcasters that are podcasting, because I'm not. And I hear that it's a very challenging job, and it's one I probably won't do, but I'm happy to be a guest on others and share whatever. I'm at your service. So Carolyn, at your service. Adam, at your service. Just reach out to me. Hint, the answer is going to be yes. Ask it, a hint, I'll say yes. Did you guys ever see As Good as It Gets with Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt, right? She leans up and she says, "I'll give you a secret. The answer will be yes." And so that's where that's from. I have to give credit where credit's due, of course. They both have Instagrams in case you want to contact them. Respectable, likable people. Shelby, what I'd love it is if you reach out to them and have them reach out to me, because you can see my life is chaos. I shouldn't speak that it's chaos, but I have to identify the gorilla in the room. And the gorilla in the room is chaos. Chaos. Chuck says he can't wait. So that means, that I need to give him a call so he can get his ghost, because he's been very patient. I did the same with my friend Nate Singleton. I said, I have one spot in April. We're giving them to you in April. So that's what I'm going to do with Chuck, is I'll look over my other people. And many just keep saying, don't worry. Like Sharon, who she's the sweetest thing. She loves my work. She always buys something, and she's so kind. And she's always like, when you get around to it, you got these people, and Chuck's the same way. So that's why I said to Chuck, there is a month, I think it's May, where I'm going to take care of the people who bought a couple of sets of ghosts. Can you believe this? They bought I love you guys for that. Thank you. And it's very smart on your part, because I got to tell you, I'm not going to do any more illuminating characters for a while, because these have been very, very difficult and hard. And they mess with me at every step. I'm going to say from this day forward, they're going to stop messing with me, because those little ghosts there's a reason they create havoc at the Haunted Mansion. Apparently the Haunted Mansion is not their boundaries. So they're little stinkers. So thank you, Deanna. We are, and I hope you're well as well. Love your hair. My boys have dreads. Can you recommend your hairstylist? I could, but I don't know that he's seeing anyone. Right now he's not, because he's very, very, very limited on who he can have in the salon while we're in the lockdown here in Southern California. So he was telling me the other day, for the longest time, he would have me come in only. And like I told you, it takes 3 hours to do this. It's not 3 hours of doing it. It's about half hour, 40 minutes to do it, and then another 2.5 to dry it. So, but what I will do is, if you hit me up in the comments, ladies, I can put you in touch with him, and he can recommend someone if he's not, if he won't do it. But he's a love. We have been together for a very, very long time. You may remember the picture from Dinosaurs. He did that for me, that kind of cut close off to the side hairstyle that I did when I was on Dinosaurs, the TV show, doing the marionette part. And he did that for me for a while because we were trying to figure out the transition between, fuzziness and how I could we were trying to figure out a way that I could deal with my hair in the least amount of time possible. This is it. All I have to do after Michael, my amazing hairdresser, who is a white guy, by the way, I can pull it back. I can put it to the left. I can put it to the right. Done. No combing, no nothing. I can do really fancy braiding on the back of it if I want, all kinds of cool stuff with it. But the point is I don't have to comb it. I don't have to blow dry it. I don't have to, no. Washing it is a little bit of a challenge. I think I mentioned to you that when I wash it, it absorbs water like a sponge. So I have to use ShamWow. You guys remember ShamWow? ShamWow to dry it, because I need something super absorbent. Otherwise, it's going to be 50 towels or 1 or 2 ShamWows. I become a water hazard. So that's why. Also, you may or may not know that Black people's hair, people of color's hair, it goes through the same thing as a white person's hair does. What do I mean by that? Thin, thick, heavy. Okay? You can have fine. You can have medium fine. You can have thick, medium thick, just like white people. But the difference is that it grows differently on the skull. And if you have a fro, it really doesn't matter, thin, thick, whatever. But when you're doing dreadlocks, it's better if you have thick hair. Okay, so for example, Whoopi Goldberg's is kind of in the middle. So her hairdresser knows this and takes really good care of Whoopi Goldberg's hair so that it isn't too much taxed, because these can be very heavy. Yeah, but I have thick hair and a skull like leather, because in the early years, they tried all kinds of things to make my hair function and easy for my mom to do. And my scalp was toughened as a result. So yeah, they used lye straighteners, which burned my scalp. And I was 10 or 11. So one of the downsides of having a mom who really didn't know how to do this kind of hair, it dries the same way as it is wet, which if you're a person of color, you know what I'm talking about. That doesn't happen to us. This does now. Wet, dry, it's the same. It just absorbs a lot. So I know you didn't want to have this as a hair conversation, but since the theme park gals asked, I decided to touch base on that. Terry went to the Star Wars Outpost. Check out our last video. Oh, so you're not going to do that today, even though you have it on your theme thing. Are you clickbaiting us, ladies? See, I put it in a form of a question because I'm not judging you. I'm curious. Yes, Angie, I know the mail is so slow, and this is the challenge. And this is one of the things that's got me, a little, I'm trying to get past as much as I can, get it to you as quickly as possible without it costing me a fortune. But, sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow, I sent Ghosts, the Hitchhiking Ghost, out last in early February for the January folks, and somebody got it the next day. I was like, what? Kevin Wiedenweber, he got it the next day. I was like, wow. And other people are still, waiting. Yeah. So word, Angie, word. Do you mind if I ask what the whale tail is in the background? I used to go whale watching often, so my eyes always go toward it while watching. Well, there's a good story, Bonnie. That right here is my mermaid tail. I built that. Baby. I built that little puppy. That little good little puppy. My little mermaid tail. I always dreamed of being a mermaid. What girl hasn't, right? And I'm fighting with, I'm having a wrestling match with Siri. Do you like Siri? I totally do not. She interrupts all the time. I interrupt too, but not a fan of hers. Anyway, we were discussing the mermaid tail. Okay. Let me see if I can find her here, and I will show you so that you can see Miss Bonnie actually how she. And I have a picture somewhere I really want to show you guys, but I've got to find it. You know, buried in the depths of my world. I do not see it. Let's see. Let's go higher. I may have just skipped her. Because we do want to see. There she is. I knew I had her. Okay, here we go. So here I am as the mermaid. There she is. Ta-da! How about that, Bonnie? Doesn't that look cool? This is my mermaid tail. She was built in 1980. This is actually the version 1, which was built even earlier than 1980. But this is me at a convention, and then they had a rooftop pool. I think this is Worldcon. Can't tell you which one. And we swam. This is me actually swimming as a mermaid. And then later, I did advertisements with her with this tail right here. I did ads and all kinds of cool stuff with her. And the fact that she was built in 1980 and she still exists, that makes her what, 40? Almost 41 years old. And that's amazing because this material here is supposed to die after 10 years. And yet there it is. And it's on a form. So it sits up there. My husband actually wanted me to take it out and put it away, but I won't because she's extra special to me. The fact that she's lasted so long, she has a right to stay. So that's why she's there. But I did an underwater camera ad, and I did, if you live in Houston, I did a Houston Symphony Orchestra ad where I was in my mermaid tail, dressed as the mermaid, long blonde wig, and I was holding a French horn. I'm still looking. That's one of the things I'm looking for is that poster so I could show it to y'all. But I don't know what I did with it. Honestly, I don't know what I did with it. But I think you may have asked about the process of creating that mermaid tail. And maybe I'll show you that on Monday because there we go. Okay. Hold on just a second, guys. I have to do a little, I have to write something very, oh my gosh. Oh, good. Okay. So let me just forgive me. This is so rude when you're at a restaurant. Don't do what I'm about to do. But, somebody just wrote they overslept through my AMA, and I just told them that my AMA was still going on. But to answer your question, I'll be happy to show you my process. This mermaid tail was what I showed Disney when I applied to be an Imagineer, because besides seeing pictures of your artwork, they want to see a start to finish progression of how you maybe, in my case, did the sketch of the mermaid. Then what was the next step? What was the next step? What was the next step? And the reason they want to see that is because you remember, oh gosh, I'm so bad. This is so terrible. I'm chewing. When you forget, this is a good way to let your brain think. Chew or drink water. If you ever find yourself on stage and your head has a vapor lock, just drink some water till you can calm yourself and get back. Edith Head. Okay. Edith had an amazing costumer. But when she went to first apply for her job, she stole her roommate's portfolio. True story. And because she didn't draw very well, but she knew she could execute. So she stole her roommate who could draw very well and used that portfolio to get the job. Well, Disney's not stupid. And They want to make sure you can do the work you're showing them. And photographs, you could get them from anywhere, couldn't you? So to show the process with you in there just nails it that much further. It doesn't mean that as an Imagineer, they're not necessarily going to hire you if you don't have your process. Your process just ensures that they're more apt to hire you even more if you've got it. So if you want to see that, I'll write that on the back of this paper, and I'll make sure that Monday or Friday I will do that. Mermaid process. I will show you what I mean, and then I will explain it to you. But I got to track down those pictures. So I'll show you. It's in my portfolio, which means I need to convert them to digital so you can really see them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So mermaid process on AMA next Friday or this Monday. And that's only because I don't know what Monday's going to have. Monday's a Monday, and we're kind of prepared for Monday acting like Monday, but we're not so prepared for Friday acting like Friday. So, so that's what that mermaid tail is, and I'm very proud of her. She still works. I don't know if she still fits me. I full disclosure, I'm 65. Don't even know if I would wear it now because, it's a lot of skin showing, and I'm not as bold and as I used to be. I don't show a lot of midriff and stuff like that much anymore. I've gained a couple of pounds, but I've kept my weight pretty well. But the problem is just I'm not about bikinis, and you know what I mean? Yeah. So, it's that brain of mine. What can I say? Package is out to get to you today, Holly. I can't wait. I can't wait for you to see it. That's all I'm going to say. I got stuff that you asked for, but there's something else. That's all I'm going to say. I have next Wednesday off and excited to finally join the Patreon chat. Bonnie, 11 o'clock Pacific. Let me tell you what's so nice about 11 o'clock Pacific. We had about 20 people on the call last Wednesday, and I was so excited to hear from all of you. A lot sit and don't say stuff, so it can be, but you're welcome to interrupt. I tell everybody, just say, wait for that quiet opening where we've quieted down, or wave like this when you're on Zoom if you want to speak, and speak. Many people listen to us like the radio, but I can't wait to have you there either. I will be sending out the announcement to patrons Tuesday. Theme Park Gals say 3 things. I have a YouTube channel and Instagram. I love baseball, especially the Padres, and I've never been to Disney World. Really? Oh my goodness, you guys have never been to Disney World. Oh my goodness, I'm excited for you to get to go. It's big. It's very big, which is why they were able to open, because they're more spread out. Disneyland's too intimate. So because Disneyland is too intimate, the reason California Adventure can open like it has is because it kept space in mind. Now, namely, the idea, as I understand it, is for parades, because parades are tight at Disneyland. Parades weren't something that were front of mind when Walt was designing the original park. But Imagineers knew how much people like parades, so they wanted to make the sidewalks wider so people could walk and watch. Those who weren't interested in parades could get by, and those who were could watch. And also that the parades could do all kinds of super cool stuff when they stopped. So the streets are wider, there's more space, and that allows California Adventure to open, as opposed to, open to a certain extent. Okay. They're not completely open, but they are sort of open. And that kind of helps you guys to get. And as I understand, characters are going to be there. I think you get to wave to them. You don't necessarily get to pose with them, but that's better than nothing, isn't it? Yeah, I remember we did a run. I think it was the Chalk Walk, I think, and we got to wave to the princesses, and I really enjoyed that. They were up on near the train as we were exiting off to go to California Adventure with the Chalk Walk. It was great to wave at the princesses. It was really fun. So I love seeing the characters too. I'm like you, so if you can't touch them, it's okay. Can't touch us, but at least you get to take a look at them and wave to them and tell them you miss them and stuff. So that's really cool. And I hope, ladies, you get to go to Disney World. You also have another thing that's about you guys. You have a very talented son. I've listened to some of his music. I haven't acted on it yet because we haven't been producing like we should. I got to get these ghosts out, to full disclosure. But you have a very talented son as well, yeah? So, see, I ask questions. We need to listen and then react. Yeah, sometimes, though, we react, don't we? We react because someone does something that triggers us. So again, I'm going to say, Bonnie, a grain of salt. Don't beat yourself up for reacting if you react, because there might be something that the other person does or says that causes you to react. So my husband doesn't like to be poked. Okay, if someone does this to him or this, it creates a reaction. He doesn't like this. Okay. Hey, that drives him nuts. And where is that from? Why is it from? I personally don't care where it comes from. I just know not to do it because it really triggers a negative reaction in him. And so then just don't do it. And poking, okay? Getting poked, like someone doing this to you all the time, which I'm not a big fan of either. Hey, you know. But, you know, what I'm saying is certain things can be said to you. Whoops. My watch just dropped. Let me get it up here because I don't want to run the risk of me rolling over it with my chair. But, you know, certain things can trigger you that you don't know are going to make you react until you hear it. So sometimes you're going to react because of, and then you're going to say, whoa, what was that about? You know, what was that about? And so we try to avoid those things because we want to be good to each other. So when you can listen, which is 99.9% of the time, Bonnie's right. When you can listen. But if you find yourself reacting, you know, then do your best. Like I tend to be a bit reactionary with people who don't wear masks. I don't mean to be. But I get offended that you don't care enough about me and I'm caring enough about you, okay? And I react. And so I stay away from those places where I could become a Karen, if you will. I don't know if I'll ever. And then if your name is Karen, does this drive you crazy that they're calling everybody a Karen? And that's because I guess of the person who who did this initially, her name was Karen, I guess. But if my name was Karen, I'd be like, okay, now what are you doing? You're not asking me a question. You're judging me, aren't you? Yeah. Because my name happens to be Karen. So, I don't know. Fill me in. If that's what you think. Okay? If that's the kind of the way you're feeling, if that's kind of the way you're thinking, then yeah. I don't know. Whenever I hear, people saying you're being a Karen, I'm kind of like, how did the Karens that aren't like that feel? Question. This is going to be our theme through the whole thing, right? This is going to be our theme through the whole thing. All right. So let's do my dear Leo a favor. And let's see what Shelby has to say. The world would be much less toxic and people wouldn't get hurt if we followed this mentality. It's so true, right? It's so true. But understand you got to forgive yourself if you react first and afterwards you go, duh, I should have not done that. COVID makes us a little bit, our edges are kind of raw. Our nerves are kind of raw. So give them the benefit of the doubt, okay? Yeah. My husband is looking for a particular type of coffee grinder. And there's a company that did an Indiegogo project back in 2015, and they only put out their grinders in batches over the years. And this is because, people have reacted angrily at them because they should be more available. If they're that good, why aren't they more available? But this is, I could tell right away, this is a company that's a lot like me in that I sculpt everything that I do. So it takes time for me to get it out to you because I'm the only one doing it. And then the manufacturers that I have in league, hence the ghosts, are only 5 a month because of COVID. We could have done them a lot faster, except COVID came into play and all kinds of things happened. So a grain of salt, but people reacted to the fact this coffee grinder did not, they just did a launch of their batch and people couldn't get into the site. The site crashed. I being one of them, I got punted out. And I wrote to them and I said, did my order happen to go through? Because I got jettisoned when I was going to order one for my husband for his birthday. And they said, no, we're really sorry it wasn't there. And I said, that's okay. That's okay. And, understand, I realize you're a small company. I looked at your history and I realized that you guys are all doing that yourself. You could have sold to a US manufacturer over here and had them readily available everywhere. But when you do that, you lose creative control sometimes, often. Okay. So that's why certain things work great for super manufacturing, like the Pet Rock, for example. Or they don't because they're actual art. And this little grinder called the Niche is a piece of art as well as a nice little grinder. So I said to my husband, we need to be patient and we need to buy from this company because we want to support and celebrate this company. And, I'm eBay. I figured, there was a lot of people on there that bought them and they'll probably show up on eBay. So this is a pricey piece in itself. This grinder is expensive. We're not talking $35. We're talking about over $700 to own this thing. And, so if it ends up on eBay, it's probably going to be like $1,000 for a coffee grinder. Yeah. I mean, let that sink in, guys. So again, there's a lot involved in this piece, but I love the company and they were very, very sweet to, very, very kind to, we've had a real good conversation. They said, thank you for your kind words. And I took the time to write them and tell them, I understand why you're doing a little batch. You're letting everybody know who signed up. The batch is available. They're there till they're gone. It's still an Indiegogo. You cannot go to their website and buy it. You have to buy it on their Indiegogo page. So it's that intimate. But, here's a company that really wants to do the best they can with this piece of art, and it's not inexpensive. So there you go. Sorry I'm late, says Nate. Overslept and then have been responding to messages. It's Friday. I'm happy you got to oversleep. That was not that was not me. But anyway, that's cool. That's cool. I shared with Nate a brainstorm that I had. Nate Singleton has commissioned me to do a one-of-a-kind piece for him. And Nate, my hairdresser got to see the sketch because I was sketching it while under the hairdryer yesterday, finishing it up, putting the finishing touches. And he said he thought it was a little risque. So you and I are going to have to now have a conversation about your piece as to how far you want to go with it. But I just love that came to me in the middle of the night. So we'll be sharing with you guys more about this piece. But Nate loves Jessica Rabbit. And he also loves Roger Rabbit. He loves them both. He loves the couple. So he asked me if I would do one of a kind for him of Jessica. And I've said it before, I strive really hard to make it different from anything else Nate has, because Nate has a lot of Jessica and Roger. So I wanted to make it different than everything else. And this becomes challenging with the Jessica Rabbit because Jessica's dress was designed not only for... if you remember Roger Rabbit, you remember she had a very long, beautiful magenta dress. The reason she did was because she had very long legs, and animators did not want to continuously animate those legs. So they could animate the dress shifting, and that made it a lot easier and a lot faster. It also aided in creating the sculptures. If you're doing figurines of Jessica, and many artists simply, recreate that Jessica in the long gown, okay? And that long gown supports those legs, because if you're doing a sculpture and the legs are free, and she's got those little ankles a la Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas, this can be a problem, okay? Because she's got to support herself some way. She's got to stand tall on a platform. And if it's only her two tiny ankles on the top of the big body, especially around this area, she could snap off of the base. So the dress helps to create that third point so that she's solid on the base. Well, when I do Jessica Rabbits, I did one other one for my friends in Florida. He wanted her as a golfer, so I used his favorite golf club as a third point. She's sexily leaning on that, and she's wearing a very short dress, a very short golf dress, and then I designed shoes for her. So again, this is talking about taking the essence of a character and putting her in a situation that suits. So with Nate, I did the same thing. Nate wants her to kind of have a day at Disneyland, but we want her to be super sexy. We want her to be beautiful. And I woke up with this idea. So in the coming, I'm not going to talk to you about it now because Nate and I have not had our conversation. And I'm not going to break it to you. In fact, I'm hoping that Nate and I he can join us on Zoom and we can discuss it with the patrons first. And then he can share with it. But first, he and I will have a call together so that we can talk about her. But finally, I got the drawing done because I kept reworking it. I wanted it to be, as soon as he saw it, he could see the elements I took the ideas from. So, and Nate, one of them came from, well, the Roger part of it came from you won't even believe it. I call it a sign. Do I have it here? Let me see if I have it. I have it over here. I was digging through my garage and this popped up. So this is a coloring book, and I can't even tell you where, let's see if it tells me where it's from. It's all yellowy and everything, Nate. And let's see if it says when it was published. It doesn't. It was probably published around the time of Roger Rabbit, but it doesn't give me a date. But anyway, this and the Jessica is terrible in here. The Jessica doesn't look anything like Jessica in here, but the Rogers are really good. So I got to see some good examples of Roger, so I could work with this design. And like I said, it's not fair to talk too much about it, but we will share with it later. Okay, so before I go back into your comments, I'm going to answer some questions here. So we got to do this for Leo because he works hard on these questions and we don't want him to think that we're ignoring him. We are at the 1 hour, 27 minute mark. Thank you for staying with me. And I hope you're enjoying yourself. Okay. So we're talking about WandaVision. Now, isn't it interesting? Leo sent me a couple of things from WandaVision that made me giggle. First of all, somewhere someone wrote an article and the article said, WandaVision, you can watch it even if you don't like Marvel. Something like that. You know, fun for people who don't watch Marvel as it is for people who do watch Marvel. Nice of them to follow my lead, isn't it? That's my story and I'm sticking to it. But I thought that was cute. I thought it was cute that he popped that up in front of me. So he's saying last week's episode of WandaVision. Now, have y'all seen WandaVision? Have y'all seen it? If you haven't seen it, I don't think this is a spoiler because A, if you aren't a Marvelite, you're not going to know this statement that I'm not going to say. And you are a Marvelite, you already know it because you told me in the beginning, before WandaVision, you identified Wanda as the Scarlet Witch. You remember that? You actually told me on this channel, so I don't think that's a spoiler. In the one that what Leo was saying is in the final episode, they name her that, but I had the question of why she's called Wanda if she's the Scarlet Witch. So this is from Comic Books Gone By. So if you think this is a spoiler, let me know in the comments. But I don't because I had no idea why Wanda was why they called her Scarlet Witch. Also understand Disney's going to have their own timeline, you Marvelites. There's, Disney, for a fact that Disney will touch with your comics, but not necessarily follow with your comics, right? They'll start to develop their own sort of story. So be ready for that. It's not going to necessarily fall exactly like it. And if you saw the final part of WandaVision, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay. I'm not even going to say it. Okay. I'm just going to say that many of you looked at the final one way, and the people who are not Marvelites, me, looked at the finale in a different way. And I tell you what, April, we'll talk specifically about WandaVision if you want to. So all of you who are on here, if you don't want spoilers and you have Disney Plus, watch WandaVision, binge it, so that you don't get a spoiler, okay? Because spoilers will be announced in April. We'll give you a couple of months to just kind of catch up, okay? Because it just ended. I was heartbroken that there's not more. In fact, I'll probably binge watch it just because I want to see it all together. But yeah. What were my two favorite characters besides Wanda and Vision? Okay. I love the girl who's supposed to be the daughter of the pilot when Captain Marvel visits. I like her. I'm a big fan of hers. Huge fan of hers. What was her name? Gladys or something like that. Anyway, I love her. That wonderful, smart pilot daughter girl. I like her a lot. I like her very, very much. Anytime she's on the screen, I just light up because she's super cool. And I'm going to say it, she's a woman of color, but I don't feel like she was put there because she's a woman of color. You follow me? Any person could have played that role. I'm really glad it's a woman of color playing it because she's really, really wonderful. She's really, really good. And that's the way you should be casting if you want it to be diverse. Cast it so I'm not feeling like you're putting it there because you're filling a quota, you know? Yeah, that's my statement there. Let's see. Did that mean anything to you more than to you as more of a casual fan? Let's see. For the first time in the Marvel universe, he says, like I said, Scarlet Witch came to me at the beginning because my husband, I said, who is Wanda? And does Wanda have fire? So when I first saw Wanda in Endgame, I thought she had fire. I thought she had the ability to throw fireballs. And so I asked my husband, because this is not my jam, Marvel. I'm a Star Wars girl, among other things. But he said, it's not fire. She has a lot more powers. She's known as the Scarlet Witch. And I go, what's that? And he goes, do you really want me to explain the whole thing? And I was like, no, please don't. But then as I watched a couple of episodes of Wanda, I said, why is she called Wanda if she's the Scarlet Witch? And they go, well, her name is this. So I was like confused, but okay, let's go. So all of a sudden, when she's actually called the Scarlet Witch, I was not surprised, impressed, anything, because my husband and many of you guys on this channel, AMA, told me, kind of gave me the idea of the Scarlet Witch. So, so to answer your question, because we discussed it in the first two, because you guys all know it from the comic books and stuff, all you Marvelites know this. It's not a big surprise. It's kind of like, yeah, and I mean, as Marvelites, post in the comments what you thought if you saw that last one, and don't do spoilers, but was it such a big reveal for you? Because you all knew it. You told me it. You told me it after the first episode when I was asking the questions. When I was what? Curious. I keep beating that in there, don't I? Okay. All right. When will you and Lindsay watch the last episode? We did. We watched it last week. We always watch it on Sunday. He really wanted to watch it last Saturday. So a week back, last Saturday, he wanted to watch it because he was just, he was on vacation last week. Okay. So the day the actual final episode dropped, he was on vacation. He really wanted to watch it that night. And I said, no, I need to watch it on Saturday or Sunday because I work all the way through. Friday is a hot and heavy day for me. So I didn't want to take the time to watch it. I would be distracted. That in the plan needs to stay in the plan. So he was very sweet about it. I told him he could watch it ahead of time because chances are we'll both watch it twice anyway. But he's like, nope, not doing that to you. So we waited and I made a really nice meal. I think the meal I made was It was something really delicious and good. I think it was like lettuce cups with shrimp inside and crumbles of cheese or something. Anyway, it was so good. And we ate that while watching the WandaVision. And so we've seen it. But like I said, this Saturday, what are we going to do? What are we going to watch? I might just watch the full season of Ted Lasso again because I happen to have access until we vote for the Screen Actors Guild. So I may just watch that again because it's so upbeat and positive. But then again, I'd kind of like to watch WandaVision A to Z from episode 1 all the way to the final episode just to see how it flows. I think it would be fun. I do that often. I did that with The Mandalorian. I really enjoyed it. So I think that's what I'll be doing. Do you think that Wanda's participation will increase your interest in upcoming Marvel films and Disney Plus series? We'll see. I really do like her. I really do like Vision. I really do like the pilot lady, who I can't remember her name. But I really do like this series. I'm glad they renewed it. That's my husband who goes, they renewed it for another season. Yay! You know, but will I watch other? I'm destined to watch all the Marvel films because I have a husband who's a Marvelite. Okay. And one of the things that could happen as we go down in our tiers, read the other one, is that movie theaters could open up. And we love seeing stuff on the big screen. We really do. This time of year, we don't get too much because we have lots of screeners coming in that we must watch. So there's been a lot of movies that have been nominated. The Five Bloods, Night in Miami, the Mama one, and all of a sudden, see if I cross like that, sometimes the lane change is too fast for me. But there's all kinds of really good ones. I watched The Crown, and I giggle at that. I don't know if you've watched the last season of The Crown or if any of you are into The Crown, but I got to say that Gillian Anderson, who was in X-Files, I loved her in that. Oh my, it's Gillian Anderson, I think. Anyway, she does the best Margaret Thatcher. I am so impressed with her performance that I miss her when she's not on camera, So I get really excited when it's going to cross into Margaret Thatcher because I get to see her do that again. It's so good. I just love it. So, that's kind of the stuff. See The Crown, Queen's Gambit. If you haven't seen that, that's on Netflix. It's brilliant. The girl is amazing. All the cast is amazing, but she's really not only beautiful and lovely, but just a killer. It's such a good performance. And then there's other things I need to see. I watched the Hillbilly Eulogy or Hillbilly Elegy, however you say it. And I wasn't so impressed with a lot of that, but I really did love Glenn Close's performance. I'm trying to think of what else. I've got to see Dead to Me. I've never watched it. Need to watch that. I tried to watch Schitt's Creek. It doesn't appeal to me at all. So many people love it. My family just goes, "Oh, it's so good." Not my husband, but I mean, all his family goes, "Oh, it's so funny." And my mother-in-law, "Oh, it's so funny." And I'm like, it's dead on me. It's not my thing. So no. There's several others that are really, really, really good too. So this is the year I catch up on everything with the screeners because I want to do my due diligence as a Screen Actors Guild member. I want to see everything so that I can vote with knowledge, not vote with, oh, well, that's everybody seems to be voting for this one. I'll vote for this one. I don't want to do that, And I kept avoiding, honestly, Ted Lasso because it looked kind of smarmy. And see, what did I do? I judged a book. I judged it. I didn't ask questions. But because it was a Screen Actors Guild nominee, I went through and watched it. And afterwards, I was so glad I did. It's such a brilliant show. If you liked Parks and Recreation, which I adored, you'll like this. It's not quite as extreme as Park and Recreations. Park and Recreations jumped off the diving board a couple of times, but this one is just beautiful. So this is a roundabout way to tell you that I will be watching Marvel stuff because my husband's into it. So out of respect for him, I'll watch it. And he, out of respect for me, will not give me the whole backstory because I'm not interested in the whole backstory. I'm really not. I really am a Cliff Notes person. She's who, she's what, he's a what. Okay. So when I asked about Vision, he said Vision is a cyborg. Okay, stop. Don't need to know anymore. Don't need to know anymore. If something is revealed later in the series, I will ask the next question to get a little more information. But I'm really, because I'm not a Marvelite, I don't need the whole history. It doesn't appeal to me like it does to you guys. So yeah. What other shows are you enjoying on Disney Plus? Well, I'm watching Dinosaurs. Are you surprised? I'm surprised because it really holds up. Boy, is it good. It's really good. So I'm impressed with that. And the question is, have you gone back to watch episodes? Yep. I ran the Muppets almost all night. It just kept, the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. Thank you, Disney Plus, for not stopping in the middle. I love the Muppets. And I love hearing Jim Henson as Kermit the Frog. Nobody does Kermit the Frog. Sorry to you that do Kermit the Frog today, but you'll never be Jim. And Jim just does such a great job, and I love hearing him. It's very joyful. It's very fun. Also, if you saw early episodes, I never really knew, because I was much younger then, that other people performed and did the voice of Miss Piggy. I always thought it was Frank. But I came to find out other artists of his team did the voice and performed Miss Piggy until I guess Jim said, the one that really kicks it off is Frank. But I always thought he was her. And we heard the voice in some of the early Muppet shows, and I'm like, that's not Frank. Which made us curious. And we asked the question, wasn't Frank always Miss Piggy? And we found out, no. 2 other performers, I think, did it. That was something I didn't know. I always thought that Frank from the get-go was Miss Piggy, but he wasn't. So if you watch it, you'll tell, because the voice really is different when it's not him, which is normal. I mean, this is why you give different people different characters, right? In the Muppet Show. So go back and check that out. It's really fun if you haven't already. Have you watched the Country Bears constantly? Because the Country Bears is just got such great music. Did I lose your love a long time ago? See, so I love, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Yeah. So yeah. Are you glad that you received the subscription as a gift? Well, full disclosure, they gave me a subscription as a gift, but they gave it to me in 2 or 3 month interval. They said, here's 2 months or here's 3 months. I can't remember, of Disney Plus, which I thank you. I'm grateful. Thank you. But like you, I have discovered I want it for the full year. Yeah, I bought it for the full year. Yeah. So they took 3 months. They discounted me 3 months because I wanted to do the full year. So that I'm grateful for. But honestly, guys, I like that channel. I really do. It's got some stuff on there that I really am touched by when I watch it. I really like it. And when I go there, they're always putting something else up that's got Discovery. And some of it doesn't work. Like there was some sort of a Frozen thing that they were taunting, and they come on and they talk about it's kind of like Fantasia 2000s meets Frozen, and I didn't think it was very good. That's a sort of a back to the drawing board thing, I think. But it was for virtual reality, so maybe if it was in the virtual camera, it'd work better. My husband says no, but I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because I can't wear virtual goggles. They make me have seasickness, so I can't do that. But seeing it normal, I was grateful I could see it normal. But it's one of the few things that Disney put out that just left me kind of cold, and that's okay because not everybody loves everything, and that's certainly me. So there we go. Yeah, and then it says, "Are you still following NASA's rover mission on Mars?" Oh yeah, Bow, bow. Chicka, 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 bow, bow. NASA, 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 bow, bow. I am a space squid. I am a space nerd. I would have been in space. That was the number one thing I wanted to be when I was a kid, is an astronaut. But I get severely motion sick. So that went out the window pew, pretty early in my life. I get motion sick watching video games. So, That being said, when I was in Florida, speaking in Florida a few years back, the people from the NFFC, now the Disney and a Fan Club, took me to Kennedy Space Center, and I got to have lunch with an astronaut. Now, I think I've mentioned before that it wasn't Terri and the astronaut. It was Terri, about 150 people, and the astronaut speaking. That astronaut was Story Musgrave, and afterwards we became really good friends. And I write to Story now and again, and he writes me back. He's a really great guy. He flew over 9 shuttle missions, the space shuttle missions. And he's always told me, Terri, suck it up. Everybody gets motion sick. You should go on a space flight and just get over yourself. And so you guys have all been so sweet to send me this billionaire from Asia who is going to take some people with him. And then Elon Musk is talking about, you donate to the children's hospital, you donate to the Cancer Foundation, or you go on another site page and you can be in the group that flies and gets to see Earth from space. And so I'm looking into that because I want to do it. I really, really want to be part of these civilian expeditions that go. I'd love a seat on that. Absolutely. I would love it. That's my number one bucket list. And part of me says, will I ever get to see it? And I get to see it on the NASA channel. They keep it on Earth from space whenever they are not doing a live announcement. Now, 2020 was a bang up year for space squids, because we saw the Dragon, the SpaceX Dragon, named because they love me. At least that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And we got to see it land with a full crew of 4 people, and we got to see someone from California talk about what it's like to see Earth from space. And then he did his first spacewalk. Did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see that? It was amazing. It was amazing. Out there, because we followed him and we saw his joy and we saw his excitement. It was just so cool. And then we're on our way to Mars. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And we land on Mars. Our rover lands on Mars, and it does it well. And then the microphone does the sounds. I mean, I'm telling you stuff. If you are following this NASA stuff, you know this. And you also know that it was a musician who found himself not doing much during the pandemic, and all of a sudden designed a microphone that they ended up using on the rover. Oh my God. And it worked. And his interview was astounding. If you have not seen his interview, forgive me, I don't know his name, but I just did the happy dance when I saw it. I did the absolute, I was so excited when I heard that, like, a common guy like us got to do the microphone. Oh, it's so cool. It's we've got people who are contributing that are not necessarily NASA people. They're people like you and me. Isn't that cool? I don't know what I could contribute to it. And Leo also pointed out that Joe Rohde is going to be helping. And oh my goodness, Joe Rohde, I think the idea of reaching to an Imagineer is brilliant. Story Musgrave became an Imagineer, and he helped the Imagineers with a lot of their space stuff, like Mission to Mars. But this is sort of it in the reverse. Now NASA is like, well, gosh, if Elon Musk and his super wonderful creative brain can be helpful, why not someone like Joe? And is this not a dream come true? I mean, if he wants another associate that has lots of ideas, really cool, and I can get a seat on there and I can be of service, here I am, Joe. I want to do it too. But yes, and I can't wait to see the helicopter fly on Mars. So the rover's going to release this helicopter, and nobody's flown anything on Mars. We don't know if it's going to be successful. Everybody has done their guesses down here on Earth, but the atmosphere is different and everything is different. So it's going to be really cool to see it, and we pray it's going to be all good, The helicopter wrote back that it was fully functional and ready to go. So there's a process they want to do. They're not going to jump the gun, but I'm super excited. So to answer your question, I'm following it like crazy. I follow it like crazy. Also the moon. So I have the patches. I have like, that patch that they have for the rover. I have that one. And then I have a few other ones that are really cool. But I want to put them on my space jacket because I have a NASA jacket and I put all those patches on. And it's really cool to be my age and see we're going to go to the moon and we're going to go to Mars. And we landed in Mars in my lifetime. Oh my goodness. And it worked. And now we're doing these rocket ships that look like a children's show I used to watch as a kid. Rocket Ship XM. So we saw that ship take off and we saw that ship land. And then unfortunately it blew up. So a sad note is my husband comes home and he says, "Did you see the rocket ship today?" And I said, "Yeah, it's a shame it blew up." I should not have said that last part because it really made my husband sad. He had seen it go up and he saw it land, but whoever was showing the footage cut before it blew up. So my husband didn't know it blew up. And my husband was like, "It landed it. You're thinking of the one before." And I'm like, "I'm afraid not." But the good news is it didn't blow up because it landed. It blew up because what they're saying is it had some sort of fuel leak. They can fix that. They're close now because they had one go up, come down, boom, up, fall down, boom, up, fall down, boom. This one didn't fall down. This one landed, but then there was a leak and so they can do it. They can do it. It's a shame because it must be like what, billions of dollars to build one of these things. But Elon doesn't seem to be affected by that. So he's going to build another one with everybody, with NASA and everybody. And this one will work the next time. They're so close and they don't give up and it's going to be cool. But it looks like Rocket Ship XM, which is a little show. If you've never seen it, that was a Puppetoon. You can Google it on, you can search it on YouTube. I have the DVDs because my husband and I love this show. It's yeah. Because we love space and this is our world. This is like when we were kids, we imagined this. Now it's actually happening before our eyes. These were drawings. These were paintings. These were illustrations and stuff. And now it's really happening. Like we have a space station up in space. And we were only dreaming of that when we were kids. Can you imagine going to the moon? 1969 we did. Can you imagine having a space station? Can you imagine having a ship that can go and come back, the space shuttle? I mean, come on, isn't that cool? So cool. So cool. So we get jolts regularly on that. CNN reported yesterday the first space hotel is scheduled to open 2027. Actually, they reported it on Tuesday. Actually, CNN reported it maybe yesterday, but KTLA 5 reported it on Tuesday. Yes, they did. And it's not my news trumps your news. But I knew about this. Okay. So Leo said it'd be good to study, but I had already studied this because who doesn't want to be in a hotel in space? Especially when it looks like this, guys. Look at this thing, man. Look at this. Anybody heard of 2001? Doesn't this kind of give you that feeling? Somebody really liked 2001 and decided to do this. Now, it's also very functional. Everybody gets a view. And Leo was nice enough to show me. And so you get to see some of the thing. I mean, look at this bar or restaurant with that great view. See the guy who's looking out? He's in the white shirt and he doesn't have a drink. He doesn't have anything. He's just staring at. Just put dreads on that. That'll be me. Okay. Because this could happen in my lifetime. However, I don't know what the price tag would be to be able to stay at this amazing hotel. But I'd sure like to. Look at the rooms. Isn't that fun with Earth in the background? Doesn't it just make you, oh my gosh, it makes me shut. It's so cool. It's so cool. And here is the actual hotel room. And so there's a guy standing by the window, but then there's a girl, she's got like a coffee or something, and she's just looking out the window. Is there any reason for me to move? Do I need to go to a bar? Do I need to go to a restaurant? I'll have room service and stare out that window. I might not even sleep because this is realizing my joy, my reality. And then you'll notice over to the left, there's a galaxy shot, which I would imagine is a special channel like you get at hotels that will talk to you about nearby stars, nearby nebulas, nearby galaxies you might be able to see. I know this will have artificial gravity, but I haven't read far enough. I think they said it might turn. So then I got to see if what about my motion sickness? But it's like a cruise. I did a lot of cruises, and I had to speak on cruises, and I took care of my motion sickness situation on cruises. So I'm kind of being positive and saying the same would be with this hotel, right? But isn't this like the coolest thing ever? It's so cool. It's so cool. So yeah. So is this an idea that interests you? Yeah. How I get there and how I get back and what's the price tag going to be. I'm going to be up in years, but I would really love to go do it. I really, really would. And Lindsay just looks at it, and he's the one that said, price Ugati. But hopefully there'll be some sort of way that I can go up there. I'm willing to speak. Like maybe they'll have me up in space as a speaker. And I'll talk about the joys of dreaming beyond the stars, because look what happens. We're in a hotel. So, so you never know. Would you wait a few years and have a better grasp of safety and such travel? Well, it's the Gateway Foundation. They're pretty good. And also, the first people that go, the price tag's going to be massive, guys. It's going to be massive. I mean, you're going to have a few bills to go up there. So I don't think I need to worry about safety. It's like the what is it? The guy from Virgin Airlines, he's building a spaceship that you can see Earth from space. And then you've got Elon Musk doing it. And the price tag for both is what? $150,000, $200,000, the price of a nice home in a lot of places. So, yeah. So that's the kind of thing that you got to use as your goal, but understand that goal is a pricey one. So yeah, I think safety is an issue, but yeah, it's going to be. And look, Virgin Galactic announced that it had hired longtime Disney Imagineer Joe Rohde, help design and guide the overall experience for astronaut friends, families, inspired fans alike from its Spaceport America. There you go. Seriously, on a smaller scale, I've got someone back east that wants me to design a man cave that looks like an actual cave. Okay. Well, it's no different with Joe Rohde. Joe Rohde has done a lot of concept art through the years, and he's done some beautiful work. He also was very much a part of Pandora. So you can make the dots are not so far to connect, are they? So he'll do a beautiful job. I'm very excited. And if he needs help, I'm available. Okay. Let him know. I'm available to help him out if he needs anything. Basically, take me with you, Joe Rohde. How would you approach this assignment? How would you blue sky it? How would you have fun knowing that Virgin Galactic's current plans are for a quick civilian trip into space, short weightless experience before returning them? Yes. Well, personally, it's got to be about the presentation, okay? So what I would do is you start, you've invested, and now you're probably going to submit your money online, I would imagine. So now it's got to be kind of like, do you remember Jurassic Park when you go in and it tells you all about the park before you actually go into the park? That's what I think you should do with this. This would be my idea. I would also suit you up appropriately. I would do something where you get to look special, look cool, look like an astronaut, and it's unique. Joe, design it unique to this experience. Okay. Do you put on a helmet or not? Is it a hat? Whatever it is, you would do that. Do you get a manual, like a a journal, a log or something that you have to read and then write or whatever. Just take it, learn what astronauts much do. And then I would try to create that experience as much as possible, not copy it. And I know I don't need to say this to Joe Rohde because he knows how to do it. It's going to be amazing. But I wouldn't copy it, but I'd certainly give you that feeling. And then upon exiting, what do you get to keep? Okay. Or there should be some sort of certificate that you get to keep. There should be photos that were taken of you so you can have those. And then for the store, a place where you can buy a lot of the things that you got to wear when you were on it. I experienced this with the bridge climb in Sydney, Australia, which was an absolute joyful experience. I had more fun doing that bridge climb in Sydney, and I was so happy to get to do it. And the pictures and photos were wonderful. And I got a patch. Please do a patch. Please do a patch. And maybe a pin as well. And then some sort of thing that you can invest in so that you can remember your situation. Maybe you want to still dress something. I some people wear t-shirts. I would rather have like something a little more stylish, like a jacket, hat. If you need help designing those, I'm your gal. But that's what I would do. Create the entire experience from the time you check off you want to do it, all the way through to the time you're done. You go up, you come down, you're done, right? So you have the whole experience. For if it's going to run you 150,000 to 200,000, it should be really, really special, right? I think if you're one of the first, you should be able to get with Virgin Galactic and, stand maybe with Joe or something or whatever. Or maybe there's a picture where Joe is standing and he's thinking, digitally, and then you get to step in like people hold Tinkerbell, but just make the experience super, super intimate and fun and unique. For that kind of money, it should be really, really, really unique. And going up is unique, but make it do more. Over deliver is what they say. Always over deliver, and people will just be your best marketing tool. You won't believe it. It was fantastic. It was spectacular. Yeah. So that's what I say. That's what I would do. How would you? Okay, that's what you said. Weightless, space short weightless experience. That's where I would get motion sick. So you probably shouldn't have the camera on me at that time. And what's the best thing you've got going in your life at this stage? The best thing. Oh wow, there's so much. The sun is shining and I got to clean the garage. I've been trying to do that for years. It's still not done. But Terry's Tribe is really great. I love having the Patreon page and people that we can sit together and talk. I really love the Zoom call. That's really going well. I love the people in there. Very supportive, very conversational. It feels like I'm across the table at a restaurant and I miss the one-on-one interaction. So that's real special. I love the patience of people that I have on that channel and of the people who have ordered the Hitchhiking Ghosts. They're all supportive and patient and understanding. And they understand that I'm having a small meltdown where it comes with these ghosts. I really want them out and everyone to enjoy them. And the sad thing is that if we could see each other live, I would have handed them to everybody and they would have taken them home and they would have got to feel them and hold them and experience them through my art proof. So that's a little hard on me that I don't get to do that. So I love that. I love seeing other people's dogs and cats and creativity. Love all that creativity. And I'm doing a lot of talking for clubs, doing a lot of Zoom chats, which I like very much. Getting a few auditions, which I like, which is cool. And I got to go to the beach. We took Lindsay's mother's car to the beach and we drove it around and then we got it smogged and then we took her a malt. Do y'all know what a malt is? Do y'all like malts? You got to make the malt the right way. Vanilla, ice cream, chocolate syrup, and malt. But Lindsay's mother had never had one like that before. She might have when she was a child, but she couldn't remember it. So we took her to Mel's Diner before the pandemic, and she just went crazy for the malt, you know. So when we brought her car back, we surprised her with a malt, chocolate malt. They are so good. I don't know if you've had one, but places like Mel's Diner, they do it with vanilla ice cream, chocolate syrup, and the rest of the ingredients. You cannot do chocolate ice cream. It is not the proper chocolate malt, okay? That's not a chocolate malt. That is not the 1950s classic chocolate malt, which is what 50s, 60s. That's mine. So try it. It's delicious. So that lifted my spirits a lot. And being able to get donuts for my husband to give at his office and hearing that it made them feel better, that's a big win. You know, I think in a time like this, making people feel better is your big win. You know, I've got a lot going on. These ghosts make me very tired. I'm not going to lie. And I'm working really hard to make them the best experience you can have if you've purchased them. And I've got what, 12 left or whatever. And I just kind of sit and you just want something to go well for people. And I think that's what's happening. So the best thing that's happening into my life right now is I'm going to get to do this portrait painting class, even if I am behind. And that's something for myself. That's just something to learn something new so that I can calm down and rest. Okay. Because I get really wound up. I'm not good sitting still. And if you're like me, you're not good sitting still, then you got to give yourself permission to rest. And I mean, really, really rest. And that may be just doing something silly and crazy for yourself, you know? And a lot of times we can't necessarily do that. And if it means sitting with your feet up watching WandaVision or a show and not doing anything else, that can be very hard. My hands aren't good being idle. And I have to really work hard to get them to be still. Okay. So that's why I'm saying, if this is you, give yourself permission to do something that's not forwarding your career or continuing what you're doing, you know, business wise or art wise. Just do something that helps you sort of chill. And I think learning a new thing, for me, it's going to be fun. So I hope I answered that question, but that's kind of, you know, what incredibly common thing have you never done? Sped. No, seriously, I don't speed. My husband and I talked about this the other day. I have no desire to drive quickly. I don't like driving fast. I don't see the joy in it. So I don't speed. Even if it's on a racetrack, I'm not even interested in being on a racetrack and going really fast. My husband loves it, but I'm not. And that's the same with like a fighter jet. My husband, when he was 17, he got to be in a fighter jet, F-17 or something. You guys know the planes. I don't, but fast. And no, not interested. Just really not. It's not my thing. It's just not what I want to do. That's very common. A lot of people love to speed in their cars. A lot of people love fast cars. A lot of people will like driving like a Ferrari or some of these other super fast cars on a racetrack so they can feel like it's like me. No. No, I'm kind of a lightweight when it comes to that. I'd like to sit on a mountaintop and sketch. Yeah. Or sit in a animal sanctuary and sketch animals. That's what I really love. And I love to be with someone who is like the sanctuary owner. So Tippi Hedren had some Shambhala, which I think she still has it, but I don't know if it's like available for people to go through anymore. But Tippi Hedren had this place called Shambhala. And when we were doing Dr. Dolittle with Eddie Murphy, Jim Henson's Creature Shop arranged for us to go to Shambhala and sketch the tigers, because I built the tiger for that movie, the puppet tiger. And I really had a great time sketching, just sitting quietly, having like a coffee or a tea and sketching the tigers. Just beautiful. But then the handler came over and talked to us about this very special tiger who had lived so long he no longer had teeth. His teeth were all worn down. And So they had to feed him special food because he had lived well beyond Tiger's life expectancy. It was just lovely to sit there and hear those stories. That's where I'm in the most heaven, is to hear stories about things that I don't know. I just love that. I just love that. I'll really, really watch a lot of whale, a lot of, a lot about animals. Like, for example, I really like the lionfish. You know the lionfish? Are you guys aware of the lionfish, what the lionfish is? I've learned a lot about the lionfish. I think they're a really beautiful fish, but they're kind of the ocean's a-holes. And you heard me right. They're actually bad guys. They're bad. And I didn't know that they were bad. In fact, Florida especially is encouraging you to eat them. They're apparently very delicious to eat. But they have contests where they encourage fishermen or people who, I guess fishermen, go and catch this fish and then kill this fish and then serve this fish because it has overpopulated Florida waters, and Florida waters aren't the only ones. But I did not know this about the lionfish. I'm trying to find a picture so you guys can know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what a lionfish looks like, I'm trying to find him. But I had no idea that this was the case with lionfish. I had no idea that they were bad guys. Lionfish are bad guys. And I was like, they're so pretty. Why are they bad? But they apparently have no predators. So the the Ocean Conservancy needs them to go away, needs them to depart, needs them to leave. Okay, I think I found one. Yes, here he is. Here's my lionfish. Well, this is a painting of kind of a exaggerated lionfish. Let me see if I can find a real one. Otherwise, I'll use exaggerated lionfish. I guess that's all I get is exaggerated lionfish. Okay, well, I'll show you exaggerated lionfish, but here's lionfish. Okay, and okay, here's the lionfish. You know him. He's very pretty. Look how pretty that lion. This is kind of an exaggerated. They made him giant. This artist made him like giant dragon lionfish, but that's what, you know which fish I'm talking about. So I thought this was very beautiful, but I learned that they are the beasts of Florida. They are actually destroying the reefs around Florida and other places. And so they have a huge contest where the person who catches and kills the most lionfish win, because they procreate like crazy. And apparently they're delicious. And then so there's a contest to cook them up, and there's all this kind of, but I had no idea. That I thought they were just a beautiful fish that you have in your aquarium. But here's what happened is, if you have a tropical aquarium, the human being loves one of those floating in their aquarium. And if you watched there's a show where a guy builds aquariums. A lot of times he'll put one of these beautiful lionfish in there. But when people are done with their aquarium and they don't want their aquarium, what some of them do is flush the fish down the toilet. Well, guess where the toilet lets out? The lionfish end up in the waters, and they have just been populating and populating and populating to the point that they are destroying the ecosystems all around. And Florida's got it bad. So they hire these people, and these people you win for the smallest lionfish you catch, and you win for the biggest lionfish you catch, and you win for the amount of lionfish you catch in a given time. And it was such a shock to learn that. But I love learning stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. What lesson, let's see, what lesson or skill has taken you the longest to grasp? What lesson or skill? Writing. I wrote a little book, just to see if you guys would read it, and you guys really love it. But to get past the fact, I used to tell people I was not a writer. And now I'm writing like crazy, but I have to relook it over, recheck it out, because it's something that in my head I keep saying, am I really writing this? Is this really me? And the reality of it is that I am really writing this. It is really me. And you guys actually like what I write. So I'm finally going to write my Star Wars book. I'm laying it out now as we speak. But thinking myself as a best-selling author is weird because I always told people I don't write. Now I have to change that too, don't I? I can't judge myself like that. I have to, but it is work. I didn't even know how to lay out a book when I started my first book. And I had no idea, but somebody knew me well enough to challenge me. I bet you can't write a book in 2 weeks. And they were right. I couldn't write a book in 2 weeks, but I wrote it in 3. So, so I thought, well, hey, but writing is the most is a skill that's taken me the longest. I'm constantly reworking it and reworking it and reworking it because they're very, very challenging to be. But I've as a result, I've loved the way other people write, and I love writing. So there you go, something I dove into, and it wasn't easy waters to swim in, but I did it anyway. So I encourage you, if it's something that's always fascinated you, the first bit may not work, but you just keep doing it over and over and over again, don't you? Yeah, we are currently at the 2 hour, just a little over the 2 hour mark. Who's the most interesting person you've talked with and met? Wow, that's heavy. Ooh, that's a tough one because I've met a lot of people that are very interesting. Burl Ives was amazing. Dolly Parton was phenomenal. Sidney Poitier, wow. Sidney Poitier said, an actor's responsibility, if you want to be an actor and you're a celebrity, is you don't have the right to be angry in public, and understand that everybody has a phone that can take pictures and do recordings now. So you really have to go inside your house and plug up all the doors and make sure you don't forget the chimney like Sleeping Beauty, and then lose your mind. But you got to do it in privacy, because your responsibility as an actor is always to be polite, sweet, and kind, because fans bring you into this world. They can take you out. Yeah. So never be rude to fans, Sidney Poitier said. And, Harrison Ford and I sat at an event, and Harrison Ford said, it's not your acting persona is not you. It's a persona that you have created. And so when you get negative reviews, don't take them personally, because that's just about your work, not necessarily you. And yes, it can still hurt that it's your work, but understand not everybody is going to love everything that you produce and create. So that was Harrison Ford. Whoopi Goldberg, who is probably one of the most intelligent people I've ever met in my life, one of the most generous people. I've done 3 films with her. And not only was she generous in getting a car and bringing my father to a set of a movie that was not that great, but my dad just thought it was so touching that she went to all this trouble so that my father could see me work, see me do my job, see me do puppets. She did that. And she also made it very clear that should I ever become famous, like her, for example, that I keep people that knew me before. So knew me before I was super famous or owned a big house or whatever it is, that can tell you the truth and keep you grounded, because you can float away and get all full of yourself. We've heard that with some people who have spouted off and said some things they shouldn't have said, and now they have no job. And that's because they thought that they could get away with what they said, and they couldn't, could they? And it's a heartbreaker. But that's what Whoopi says. If you start to go a little crazy with yourself, that person you knew in college, or that person who knew you before you, or all that, can come to you and tell you the truth and say, hey, wise up. And you'll believe them because they loved you when you were what? So that's really wise. My agent, Nancy Chavez, who is no longer with us, she passed some time ago, and her daughter is now my agent, Maria. But Nancy said, you're an oak, Terri. You're an oak. You're not going to get every opportunity that comes your way. But when there's an opportunity that has your name on it, no one else will be able to take it from you. That's what she said. And I love her. She was great. She's great. Maria's lovely too. But Nancy was a hero. And then my biggest hero, my dad, who said, poison isn't effective unless you take it. So water off a duck. So there you go. I can't really say the most incredible person because there are so many incredible people um, that come forward. You heard me talk on not too long ago about Kevin Wiedenweber, who unknowingly took the time to call me from a hospital room to tell me how much the ghost meant to him, which I've been really struggling with these ghosts. These ghosts are something that I don't want to do again because they're a lot of they the minute I think I've got it, they're messing with me again. And so it's a challenge to get them to you guys. But they'll be great. They're going to be beautiful because, if you bleed on something, it's usually going to be spectacular. So I've been doing a lot of bleeding with these guys. So, but the point is, Kevin took the time to call from his hospital bed when he should have been resting to tell me how much they meant to me. And so you guys are my heroes as well, as you sit and you tell me things, because you can get in your head. I'm no different. I can get all wrapped up in my head and get all kind of feeling sorry for myself, a bit whiny and irritable and cranky. And, I'm human. But having you guys to talk to and be with is a joy for me. So I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad that I have the opportunity to chat with you all. So I love you, and I want to thank you for doing that. Thank you, thank you, thank you for having my back. Thank you very much, all of you. So, what has really taken a toll on you? The hitchhiking ghosts. I'm looking very forward when I can do the Cheshire Cat this year, or Figment, something that will be my friend and stop abusing me, like those light up ghosts, those little swines. I'm going to say from now on, they're wonderful, they're fabulous, and they have my back. Oh, what a workout these have been. 2 years in the design phase. And then I wanted the execution phase, and everybody who bought them said, why did you decide to do it during the pandemic? I don't know. Hindsight being 2020, I probably should have waited to create them this year. But they are lovely. They are fabulous. They are from my soul, my heart, soul, my blood and bone went into them. And they are a bit of an investment, but if you can afford them, buy them, because they're not coming anytime soon. I'm not doing anything like that again for a while. It's a lot like my cachets, where I did 148 sketches, individual drawings, and hand painted all of them, and then swept the contest for the First Day Cover Society. But oh gosh, I'll never do that again. I'll never do that again. To buy those 8 envelopes is $625, $650 to get 8 envelopes that have been canceled, but they're not going to get done again. Okay. They're also my first cachet, so they will appreciate in value, but I'm not going to do that again. You do stuff like this because you don't know what you're in for. And then once you do, you go, okay, let's do something else. I'm too old for this, but so take advantage of it if you can, really. More than sales, just take advantage of it if you can. How did you spend the money from your very first job? This is a great question. Okay, so I could tell you about my very, very, very first job, but that's not the cool story. I will tell you a story from my very, very first performance job. Okay, so I did a show called BB Beagle with Hanna-Barbera. Jim Henson and his buddies in London had just announced they were no longer going to do the Muppet Show. They were done. Season ends. You got 10 years of it, I guess, or 10 seasons of it, or whatever it was back then, and Jim was done. He wanted to go on to create other things. So that ended. Well, everyone in the US said, ooh, we're going to try to hitch our caboose to that train and maybe have a successful show. One of these shows was Hanna-Barbera's BB Beagle. BB Beagle was a star of a show. It was a variety show that we did. You might be able to Google it on YouTube. And Joyce DeWitt was our first guest. We shot it in Canada, in Vancouver. And I landed the most of the show was cast, and I landed the last remaining role. My audition landed the last remaining role. At that time, I was working at a photomat store when I auditioned, and I was making minimum wage, which at that time was $3.75 an hour. Yeah. But I was told by a friend of mine who was an animator at Hanna-Barbera, my dear friend Philo Barnhart, that he had heard about this show and that he thought I should go meet with the producers. So he worked it out. He told them about me, and they reached out to me, and I came with all my puppets, and they were very excited to see all my puppets. They were very excited to see my ability, but they told me they weren't yet having a casting session. Well, after that, it was about 4 months, and then they had a casting session. And I remember going into Hanna-Barbera, and I didn't have a puppet. I knew the script, what they had written to all of us that wanted to audition, okay? And they said that you had to be prepared with a song in your head. They were going to throw some improvisational stuff at you, so be ready. And if you had a puppet character, bring it. I did not. I did not have a puppet character. I was way too young. I was 24, 3, young. Yeah, I was young. And I walked in and I sat in the foyer waiting to go in to audition. And if you have auditioned for anything, you know what happens. A guy came in and he had not only other puppet characters, but he had a bag full of puppet characters. And so you kind of look over like this and you wonder, should you be there? Should you really be sitting in that chair? Are you going to be good enough? You can't listen to this voice. But I was frightened. I had never auditioned for a big thing before, and I really wanted this opportunity. Another person came in, and they started to talk about the yos. That's how you say it, yos. They had been in puppetry. They had been doing live shows across California, that they were very seasoned, that they were amazing, and they went on and on about how talented they were and where they were booked and how da-da-da-da-da. And I'm sitting looking at a magazine, putting it in front of my face, but behind it, I'm like, and I was about to get up and leave, okay? I was about to leave and not even audition because my head was starting to work with me, against me. And a voice came across, like cracked through all of the cacophony of, am I good enough? I've never done it. I don't have a million puppets, and I haven't been performing across the globe with my show. When a voice cut through all of that magma, if you will, and said, if you walk out of here, you lose. If you run, you don't win. If you stay, you have a chance. And that voice was like, loud in my head. If you run, you don't win. If you leave, you're done. So in spite of everything, all of my fear welling up in my stomach, making me shake, I stayed. And my turn finally came, and I went into the room. The nice thing about auditioning on the West Coast was we were brought in individually. Jim Henson loved to bring you in as an ensemble and audition you. That's a story for another time. But there I was by myself in this room, and I was just scared. I tried to never let him see you sweat, but I'm young. I'm between 19 and 21. I can't remember what the age range was in there, but I was young and never done television puppetry. I'd only done puppetry at my church, and I had built a lot of puppetry. I had done Genie Land back when I was, younger. But I had no idea. So scary, guys. It was really scary. But there was a very warm-hearted puppeteer that saw me, and he smiled. And that was the day I met my mentor, Pat Breimer. And Pat looked at me and he said, we're just going to put you through some paces. Come and grab a character that you like. And on the table, he had 3 or 4 characters for me to perform. And I found this cat. And if I can find the picture I have of Pat, I got to show you this cat. This cat was so cool. It was like if Elvis wanted to be a cat, that would be this cat. He's kind of like a Dr. Teeth in the Electric Mayhem kind of thing, but it was a cat. He had a purple face and he had big yellow eyes. He was really fun. And I started to play with him, and I noticed that there was a mechanism that you moved with your middle finger that made his eyes do this. So if you push down, it went like this, and if you did this, you could do this with his eyes. And I just went nuts for this character. I got so wrapped up in the cat, I kind of forgot where I was, which was a good thing. And so I turned to Pat and I said, I'll do this character. So he asked me to talk with my cat, and I did all kinds of things. You know how Animal has the ability to go, well, that's what I did with the cat. I kind of went, what was I going to say? I can't remember. And then I did this little control. And I just sort of just chattered away. Well, they said, okay, that's cool. Do you have a song you want to perform? And I said, no, but I'm willing to do, do you want me to come up with one and sing it a cappella, or do you just want to put it on and have me lip sync as best I can to it? So they had me sing a cappella, and I did abba dabba 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 dabba, said the monkey to the chimp. Ooh. Abba dabba 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 dabba, said the chimpy to the monk. Cha-cha. And then with the cat, I just, all day long they were happy and gay. All day long they were, so all day long they singing away. All day long they were happy and gay, singing and swinging in a hunky-dunky way. Ooh. So that's what I did. And they said, okay, that's fine. And then they said, okay, we're going to put you behind this partition, and there's words. So you can see the words, but we're going to start the song. And the song was, I'm trying to think of what the song was. I think the song was Nights in White Satin. I don't know why. That could be wrong. But that's, so with him, I had this, and the cat would go, nights in white satin, never meeting the end, or whatever the song is, the words were on the back. And I sang, and I just got so wrapped up in the character that my nerves fell away. Any of you who perform know that you can have butterflies in your stomach, in your chest before you go on camera or stage. But once you're on there, you warm up and it all falls away. And I've gotten to the point where if I don't have butterflies before a performance, I doubt my ability, because that's kind of my little good thing. That means I care. If I ever get to the point where I don't think it's any big deal, then that's not going to be good. So I always have butterflies, and I welcome them now. But at the time, I was really scared. Long story short, out of about 100 entrants, I nailed it. And they asked me to wait. Back then, they told you kind of right away. They asked me to wait. They had me sit in this room. By this time, it's dark outside. And I'm sitting in the room all by myself, kind of like this, going, what now? Maybe there's a round two. And they took me in to meet Bob Hanna and Joe Barbera. I actually went into their office, and there they were sitting there. Yeah. And they asked me all these questions. They asked me all kinds of questions. They were curious. They wanted to know where I had learned my puppets. They wanted to know what people, blah, blah, blah. I don't even remember the questions. And they wanted to know if I would like to join their ensemble and go to Canada. And I didn't quite hear them. So I was like, what? Are you saying I have the job? And they said, yeah, if you want it. And I went, woo! I didn't know what it paid. But remember, I told you that I made $3.50 or 75 cents minimum wage per hour. Well, when I got the contract, I found out that my pay was going to be like, and you remember, this is my first job. I was going to make something like $1,100 for a 5-day period. And I was going to be on the project for 3 weeks. So I just about had a heart attack when I saw what I was going to be making. And I ran out of there, and my friend had been waiting, Philo. He had been waiting by my car, and it had been a long audition, bless his heart. And we just did the happy dance in the middle of the Hanna-Barbera parking lot. It was so exciting, right? So now what did I do with this money? Well, I flew up to Canada to do the show, and I got to meet some amazing people, and I got a star on my door. I actually had a dressing room door with a star on it and my name, which was super cool. I was like, oh my God, and the show never went anywhere. We did the pilot and it never went anywhere, but it was a lovely experience. So when I came home, the checks come after. And so finally I got this check. And my parents said, you've got to put some aside for college, which I did. I was good about that. But then I asked them if I could have about $1,100 for me, that I wanted to spend of that money, $1,100. And they were like, what for? And I said, I have this idea. And so they were like, well, what's your idea? And I was like, I'll tell you later. So I had this car that I've told you about called Vader 1. It said Vader 1 on the license plate. It breathed. It was a 1968 Cougar with the lights that go da 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 da. A lot like my Mustang now. Its lights go da 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 da. They call that sequential turn signals, which if you ask someone who loves Mustang, they're never going to let Mustang not do that because that's what made Mustang special and they don't want you to change it. I digress, but this is the truth. So I grabbed my friend Philo Barnhart, and Philo Barnhart had an allergy. I remember, I'm trying to remember, lactose intolerance, I think. But it might have been something a little bit more where milk was just really bad, super bad for him. Anything with dairy would cause him real serious problems. He was allergic to the components of it. So it was more than lactose intolerant. I mean, I know lactose intolerant is bad, but for him, it was like really bad. So we decided to drive around restaurants. I sat with him and I said, I have this plan. I want to find the greatest server in Southern California. And we're going to drive around Southern California and we're going to find the greatest server. Are you in it with me? And he said, yes. And so we drove around. I think it took me about 20 to 30 days to find this person. And here's what we would do. We would go into the restaurant. We would go at a time when probably they were tired, like late at night or early in the morning. And we would say, hey, my friend is deathly allergic to dairy. Is there a way you could he really loves chicken fried steak, for example. Could you make a gravy that doesn't have dairy? And many of the servers were like, nope, sorry, can't do it. Pick something else. They weren't mean about it. Some were, but many were just not interested, just not even going to try. And I remember after 20 days, I was so tired of trying to find this way. I said, is there a server that, is going to win this money? Because you don't tell them about the money. They'd be different. You're that secret person. You remember the story about the restaurant where the guy tipped $2,000 and they thought it was a mistake? And he said, look, this is just because I'm thinking about you. I love you. I can do this. Here you go. That's what really feels good when you can do this special good deed. Okay. This is what I did with some of the money from my very first performance check. I took $1,100. I had it in an envelope. And I carried it around with me for about a month, looking for the greatest server in Southern California. And we went all over because I had Vader 1. Vader 1 took me everywhere. My father said, be in by, be in. It's, come on. I know you're over 18, but don't be coming in at 3:00 in the morning. And if you are, call. But I said, Dad, I'm on this mission. It's not about messing around. I'm with Philo. We're going to do this. And so my dad was pretty cool about it. Well, probably close to the 30th day, I went to a place called Leon's Steakhouse. It used to be in Sun Valley, California, on the corner of Vineland and Victory. Now it's a CVS, and there used to be an Alpha Beta. Remember Alpha Beta? Now it's a 99-cent store. But there was this little steakhouse, this little 1950s and 50s, and then soon it got consumed, engulfed, and devoured, as many things do. But at the time, there was this little Leon Steakhouse, and we were going home. We were tired, and Philo said, let's just pop in there. It was about 12 midnight. Called my dad, said, look, we're going to get a little bite to eat. I'm still trying to get this mission done, but I'll be home. I'm going to drop Philo off, and then I'll be home. I'm thinking, 1:30ish. And my dad said, okay, thanks for calling. I said, I'm good. We're good. We're just going to pop in this restaurant. Leon's. We're real close to home, Dad. And he's like, okay, no problem. So we went into Leon's Steakhouse. There was nobody in there. The servers were all in a corner kind of chatting with each other because there was nobody in the restaurant. So you know how they kind of sit on the stool. There was a counter. A couple were behind the counter kind of leaning in like this. They were wearing the little outfits, the little dresses with the little triangular aprons and everything. And they were all in the corner kind of chatting. And one of them saw us and she walked over with the menus and she gave us water. And then we said to her, we said, hey, we said, my friend, allergic to dairy, blah, blah, blah. He wants chicken fried steak. Is there any way that your gravy is not dairy based? And this wonderful server said, or the server said, no. She said, it's dairy based. I'm sorry. And Philo, you know, he had it down where he did real big puppy eyes. And she says, well, you know what? If you really have your heart on set on chicken fried steak. And Philo said, yeah. And she says, well, okay, I'll put it on there. She says, let me see if there's something that can be done, you know. And she went into the back. And after about 10 minutes, she came out with chicken fried steak with a sauce on it. And we looked at the sauce and we looked up at her and she says, my husband's got problem with dairy. So I just went into the back and made my recipe. There's no dairy in it. Let me know if you like it. And she walked away. And Philo ate it and I looked at him and he ate it and he went, and we had found our winner. And we're both like, we're shaking because it's been days. It's been so long. We began to give up. We were almost going to not go to Leon's. And then all of a sudden, and she was over in the corner, not even looking at us, just chatting with everybody. And so we finished up our meal and we went to the cash register. They were all kind of hanging around the cash register. And we paid our bill and we tipped the bill. Okay. And then we said, could you tell us her name? Now, I have to tell you, I cannot remember her name, but I do remember her reactions and her face, okay? So all of the other servers are around her, and I said, I've got to talk to you from my heart. I want to thank you for your sauce that you did for my friend. We are beyond grateful. We are beyond touched and we want to thank you. And she went, oh, that's okay. It's no problem. Because of this, I need to come clean with you about something that my friend and I have been doing. Yes, he is lactose. He is dairy. That's not what I'm going to tell you. But I said, what we've been doing is we've been touring for the past 30 days, looking for the best server in Southern California. And you're it. We found it. We found that it's you. And she says, oh, how sweet, how nice. And I said, no, you don't understand. And I gave her this envelope full of money. And I said, you're the winner. And this is an amount of money that my friend and I vowed that when we found that person, that person was going to win this money. And I'll never forget how she opened up the envelope and she started to shake. And then she started to cry. And she said, what? What? And I said, you win. This is your prize. This is your prize for being the best server in Southern California. And she said, how? Because we're kids, guys. You understand? We're like 19. You get that 2 19-year-olds at 1 o'clock in the morning are handing this woman $1,100. Okay? Put that picture in your mind. All right? So she's sitting there, tears. She's trying to hold back tears. How much is in here? Says she. How much is in here? And I said $1,100. This is something I wanted to do. This is what I really wanted to do. And she does this. And she starts to cry. And you know me, someone else cries, I cry. Even Philo was crying. Now we got everybody crying at 1:00 in the morning at a Leon Steakhouse at Victory and Vineland in Sun Valley, California. And we said, "Are you crying because you're happy?" And she says, "Beyond belief." But she says, "What you two don't know is I've got a daughter. My daughter needs surgery, and it's going to cost $1,100. And I didn't have it." Now you do. Now you do. So, wow. Those of you who have stayed, aren't you glad you did? Leo, if this is your question, aren't you glad you asked it? Because you were curious, not judgmental. So, was it really my idea at 19 to take $1,100 around and find the greatest server in Southern California? Or was someone moving the little chess piece called Terri Hardin to get me to this woman who needed a surgery for her little daughter and had no idea how she was going to do it? And then Philo and I walked in. She made a sauce for steak because someone was allergic to dairy. Her kindness. Best thing I ever did. One of the best things I ever did. One of the best things. When I tell the story, you can see how it hits me every time. I feel, when you tell a story like that, you feel the coolness on your skin. You are transported to the room, and I can see her face. We never saw each other again. We didn't keep in touch. We just said, "Oh my gosh, we're all crying. We're hugging. Oh, this is the best night ever." And I went home and I told my father, and he was so thrilled. But can you think of anything you could have spent $1,100 on that would have given you as much joy as that? I cannot. So that is a great question to end on, Leo. If that was yours, whoever is owned that question, that's a beautiful question because you were curious, not judgmental. And I want to thank you for that question. It's beautiful. We are at the 2-hour 40, and we're going to go in and talk to you guys again. Okay. But thank you for teleporting me back with that question. All the questions were beautiful, but that one is that was a good one. That was a good one. Hi, Johnny Johnson. How's Florida? Including your message, my friend, says Nate. Oh, yes, Nate. I was so excited about that. Eat, Terri, eat. I did. I ate it all up. You guys are so supportive. I just love it. I just love it. Michael says, here is 3 things about me. I'm single, a chef, and like long walks on the beach with a mask, of course. I'm not a Karen, LOL. Can you imagine if someone thinks you're a chef, Michael, and this is exciting. Are you like into pastries? You may have left because I answered all of the Leo questions before coming back here. But I do want to say that if you revisit and listen again, please put in the comments what you make. And if you're still here, please let me know. I love chefs. I'm a real fan of chefs. And next week, if you ask the question here, or you let Leo know, I'll tell you about my chef's experience and how much of a super fan I really am. I've met some of the wonderful chefs, and now you, Michael, I get to know. I think chefs are amazing. I am not what you would call a chef, but I sure do love to cook. I do enjoy that. Stave Puft Man was actually from me, says Nate. See, Nate, I messed up, didn't I? But Diane deserves credit just because she is wonderful. No, she gave me Remy. So now I know. Nate, Marshmallow Man. Nate gave me this. See, Nate gave me this. I still have the tag because you never know. He may want to go see Nate again. So right now he says no. But he could have told me. Oh, now you tell me. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Oh, don't be sad. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. And we didn't mean to hurt Nate's either by not telling Nate. Not saying Nate gave me you, right? Okay. You want to go back over by Remy? Okay. All right. By the little chef? Okay, you go ahead. Sorry, Nate. But see what happens? My apology has a little puppetry in it. Just for you. And Diane. Diane's the one who gave me Remy. My dear little Remy. Who is, by the way... Oops, I went too far in the comments. By the way, Michael, a little chef. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Did you catch my entertainment reference in my earlier? I did, but my husband says I don't acknowledge him, Nate. I got to get better at that. Wouldn't you say? I just need to get a little bit better in my, who is it? I'm trying to remember. Oh, it was Mark Silverman. He joined us once on one of these, and he said, my husband pointed out that he said something that was a Get Smart reference. It didn't go over my head. I just didn't acknowledge it. So I apologize for not acknowledging it. How do you feel seeing white people with dreads? That is an interesting and very interesting question, Deanna. Since I am a white person with dreads, at least half of me is. I'm concerned about if you have classic white hair, how you had them done. Because if you are a white person and you love dreads, but you have that hair that's wet and dry the same, in order to get dreadlocks, it involves a crochet hook and about 8 to 10 hours of work. So that can be very, very hard. It's a lot easier to go to Disneyland and buy that headband of Jack Sparrow and just put it on. So much easier if that's your hair. Because the reason dreadlocks work on me is because I have hair that locks on itself. So if you have hair that does that, no matter what your color, if your hair is got that, what I call nappy, but my hairdresser says don't say nappy. But that's what I learned when I was a kid. I didn't learn it from racists. I learned it from the black half of my family. And it relocks on itself. And so what you're using is the natural properties of my hair to create something that my hair likes to do naturally. Right? And then some people, like surfers, their hair starts to mat because it is a matting process. And that's because the salt water has properties that will stick your hair together. But the problem with that is they start to look a little homeless because there's no organization. See, these are all the same. So they're clean, they're nice and clean, and they don't look messy. You have to be careful with dreadlocks. If they will look messy if you just sort of leave the ocean to be your stylist, right? So to answer your question, your skin tone doesn't really matter as much as your hair texture. If your hair texture can take it on, or you're someone who just loves it so much, you're going to do a crochet hook and sit for 8 to 10 hours having someone actually tangle it, then I say go for it. You know, for me, it is the best. I have my dad's hair texture, okay? My sister could not do this because she has my mother's, the white, straight, the same as wet as it is dry hair. And for her, it would take hours to do it. So I would advise you not to try and be something that you're not. Or if you want to pretend, just get one of those Jack Sparrow things and you can see what it's like to be, you know, into it. I think there's probably a lot of wig companies that do dreads that you can stuff, you know, your hair, you know, wet your hair down, flatten it up, and then you can kind of experience what that's like without going through all of that trauma if your hair texture isn't quite right for dreadlocks, you know. Hope I answered that question properly. And we talked last month about sculpting class for KC. Are you able to do that? Yeah, maybe. We'll have to see, guys. The ghosts, tell KC that I'd love to do a sculpting class. I'll probably open it up to others as well. But right now I've got to make sure my ghosts are behaving before I take anything else on, because I have an obligation to that. So maybe as we get closer to the pandemic getting killed, that, and the ghosts being more happy about going to their adopted parents, we can revisit the sculpting class. So Casey, I haven't forgotten you. I am planning on doing it. It's just, I want to give you my full undivided attention. And you see that sometimes it gets distracted with stuff like these silly ghosts. I like Google myself. Yes. Hey, Google. Oh my goodness, you're the Little Mermaid. Yes. In fact, this mermaid tail, not exactly this one, maybe it was this one. When they were shooting the Little Mermaid, Walt Disney Pictures, they had a tank, a water tank, a big water tank that they used to have like fish swim in and everything for the animators to animate if they had to do something. So Philo Barnhart, you see, I'm saying Philo Barnhart a lot. He's been my friend since I was 17 years old. He's an amazing Disney animator. Now he's retired, so he illustrates. He can draw any character, and his work is amazing. But anyway, Philo told them that I was a mermaid. I had a mermaid tail, and they invited me to swim in the fish tank, and that helped him with water sequences for the Little Mermaid. So I actually was the model for a couple of things with Ariel for the Imagineers. Yeah, he gave me a series of I want to say mimeograph. It was heat printed on smooth paper. Like if you are old enough to remember the mimeograph and you got high on the ink, it wasn't ink, but it was that kind of thing. And unfortunately, because of the nature of that type of photograph, they've faded and I have lost all of them. That was the only way that they could do it. And they had the sequence quickly. And, but it was me swimming and the animators used it for her swimming sequences. So I'm so glad, Theme Park Gals, you brought that up, because yes, I am the Little Mermaid. But I didn't have red hair. That I used the blonde wig, but they just needed the length for Ariel for the hair. So I popped on a wig and swam back and forth, and they could do that. They were really looking to see how the tail moved, and this tail moves very, very well in the water. I know what you are doing. Yes, I am a stinker, huh? How neat, says Bonnie. I feel a little silly saying whale instead of mermaid. And yes, what I would love to see that next week sometime, mermaid process. Okay, I have written it down, my dear, and I will make sure that I get that mermaid process where I can find it without making you guys sit and wait for it, okay? I'm putting an exclamation point next to it so I know I've got to get that ready, and then I'll do that the next AMA so we have time, okay? All right, Bonnie. Yeah. Don't feel bad about the whale tail, because this fluke is kind of like a whale's, isn't it? And I designed it because I wanted a lot of space. Nowadays, Bonnie, you can purchase people from the time I made this and the time my friend Bob Short made the one for Daryl Hannah and Splash, people are now manufacturing mermaid tails. You can get the spandex kind that have the little swim fin that's in a mermaid tail shape. And that runs about, $100, $200. They aren't as pretty because you can still see your legs and stuff. And then you can go all the way up to $1,500, $2,000, $2,500 for a rubber one. But this one fits me, and you'll see when I show you the process. So those ones you can buy for like a couple $1,000s don't fit you. They're one size fits all, and they don't work well. They're just awful, I think. But a lot of women love to wear them, and a lot of things, what they'll do, because we went to like a mermaid show near a beach. I can't remember where that was. Bob could tell me. But we did this mermaid show, and a lot of the women would kind of, because they don't really fit each girl right, and if they bend their legs, it creases weird, so they really don't look good. But they would lay a certain way and maybe pull the rubber in the back, kind of like plastic surgery. No, kind of like that when they pull your skin back and they tape it in the back, that quick plastic surgery. They do that with the tail, so it laid close to body, and then they'd lean against a rock or something, and it would look like it fit them. So they would alter it in some way, but the best way is to have it custom fit you. But it takes a few $1,000s for me to sculpt it and do it so it fits you and that it works in the ocean. So if I had this to do over, I would put one of those fins in there. You know, these are just my feet here. Here's just my feet. And then this whole fluke has no, way to really control it. And so I have a little play when I swim. My feet do this inside this bulb area right here. And so it does this. But now if you had the flippers that have the tail shape, you could embed that in this sculpture, and that would really make that fin work. I actually went swimming near Catalina, and the dolphins looked at me like I was a nut. I was in the middle of a school of dolphins, and they kept looking at the tail and then looking at me and going, "Why can't you swim?" True story. Really on their faces, they were kind of like, they didn't get it. Why is this mermaid having all this trouble? But that's the true story. My sister-in-law's name is Karen, and it does at times. Yeah, I would imagine, Deanna, if you're a Karen that's not a Karen, it's kind of a drag that I'd be curious how she feels about it, because I think that would make me a little not too happy that you're judging again, not curious. I am not so happy that I overslept. It's that Friday. It's a weird Friday, Nate. You got nailed by oversleeping. I got nailed by I don't even want to go into it, but it automatically put me in a bad mood, in a sour mood, not a bad mood, but a sour mood. But luckily I have you guys to talk to, and that mood is gone. That mood is gone. Nate says, and I love it. I didn't find it to be risque. I thought it was incredible. Thank you. Thank you. My hairdresser did. But understand, my drawing is very good, but my sculpting is better. So at this point in time, it's better. So as we start to develop it, I think I wanted to also be sure that I have the size relationships between Jessica and Roger correct. That's where you're going to come in. I'm going to rough it. Now that I know you like it, I'm going to rough it together. I don't know if it'll be this week or next week, but it'll be soon. I want to talk to you first, and then I'll rough it. I'll rough it all in together. I'll do the face a little more to the finish so that you can see it. But I mean, as far as the shapes, we're going to talk about the dynamic of the shapes. I'll put it on where I want it. I'll get the height that I want, and I'll start to play with shapes, and you can decide how you like the shapes and how it looks. And we'll spin it so that she looks good from all angles, your Jessica. So I'm really excited you love it. And I'm really excited that I just can't wait to do it. I can't wait to do it. And the cool thing about it is, after we talk, if we want to share it, like on Zoom, I can share the sketch with, or you can, with our patrons, and then we can talk about it. But it's really going to be super cool. I'm very, very proud of it. Yeah, I'm super proud of it. I'm glad you love it. I'm so glad you love it. I actually am considering purchasing a Jessica sculpture where she has done exactly that. And her ankles are cracked. Unfortunately, the artist has passed, and was going to ask you if it was something you would be. Of course. Of course, you go ahead and do it. Did they actually do the same thing as I did? Or, I don't want it to duplicate unless you are okay with that, because my art's, but you let me know. And how big is she and all that? But yeah, go ahead and buy it, and we'll try and fix it. But yeah, those ankles are a pain. And that's why they did the long dress on her. So she had that 3-point. You and I have talked about that 3-point. Well, on yours, without giving it away, Nate, Roger is the 3rd point. He's the balancer. Yeah. You saw how I had his feet, the way his feet are. He'll be the 3rd point. He'll actually be holding her up so she can do that stance. It's that triptych base I talked to you about. That 3-point, let me curl my thumb because that looks like 4. But this 3-point thing right here, this is Roger. Yeah. If you were to lift it from the bottom, these are the 3 points. Her legs are here and Roger's here. Yeah. So, I love it. I used to have that coloring book. Really? Yeah. This coloring book, I didn't even know I had, but I know why I have it, because reference in case somebody wants me to do a Roger Rabbit, because I looked in the movie and it's a little weird, some of the matting that they did for Roger. It gets a little fuzzy on the film. I watch it for his energy and his excitement, but when I was really looking for a posed look that I wanted for Roger, I want him to be sweet, not lecherous. I want him to be sweet and cute and nice. I must have thought the same thing with the coloring book, because bam, that nailed it. Doesn't nail her though. Doesn't look like her at all. But Sharon says, hello, Sharon Fox Walters. Hi, Terry. Love Roger and Jessica. Yeah. On Patreon, where I hope Nate and I will be able to share the sketch that I came up with. He's private commissioned. And anyone can do a private commission for me if they want one. Nate is a big fan and a big collector of Jessica, and he loves actual art. He told me that he loves it even more after the pandemic. So we had a conversation. I set a price, and I've been real casual about it because I wanted to take my time and make sure. But I woke up with this idea, and then I drew it and redrew it, and I wanted it to have the impact that apparently it did. So yay! Nate says he doesn't watch a lot of Marvel, but rather enjoyed WandaVision. You're just like me, my friend. You know, I tell my husband if we go and watch a Marvel thing like Endgame, that I always get one of those lounges at the theater so I can go to sleep if it's not my jam. Or Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy isn't on there, because you know how much I love that guy. I remember that because I had never heard of her before. Yes. Yes. Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. I just thought it was really strange. So, but the Marvelites, they know every aspect of it. I was really numbed. That was the finale too. Yeah, sad, right? It was really getting yummy. But you know, that's the way you do it. You have a real cliffhanger, so we'll come back. And we'll keep watching for a season to see what we didn't see, because it's full of little, my husband said, full of Easter eggs, and to me, full of things that I see. You know, I love watching a movie over and over, because then all of a sudden I'm looking at the salt and pepper characters behind these stars. And that's really fun. Like, I don't know how you guys feel about Pan's Labyrinth. If you like it, I love it. It's one of my favorite Guillermo del Toro films. And Guillermo points out that in one sequence of it, there's a behind the scenes, and he talks about it. He gets really upset because there's a guy who will not stop looking at the camera when there's an acting to be done. There's like one guy in the background, and he's just like staring. And Guillermo didn't catch it, nor did anyone in his his crew catch it. So it's in the film, and it's really funny once you see it. He points it out, but he's not happy about it. It's like a thorn in his side. Of course it would be, because of course this guy is breaking the fourth wall, and you're not getting enveloped in the story. You're looking at that silly guy. So there you go, right? But that happens a lot. You know, Star Wars is full of that. Bummed, not mummed. Yeah, I knew it. I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant. Absolutely. Yes, I did. Same here, says Nate. Bob says, I agree 100% about casting. Everyone should be treated equal, not tokens. I apologize, but this subject gets me mad. It should be common sense. You cast the right person for the role, for the right part. Yeah, it should be. And Bob, you see how you got a little hot there? That's why I say that if someone reacts a little more than you think they should, don't judge them. Be curious, because maybe there's more to it. And you know, it really does get you, because it is common sense. There's no reason this should not be happening. You know, there's no reason why this shouldn't happen. Ooh, we're at the 3-hour mark. You poor people. You guys are so sweet to hang in here. Holly has seen Ted Lasso. She loves Ted Lasso, but she doesn't like soccer. Well, here you go, guys. Ted Lasso is about a wonderful man and a team that he coaches, and they are playing football. But football is not American football. It is European football, and that is soccer. I have to agree with Holly. Soccer's not my jam, and they managed to make it very exciting and wonderful. If you've ever been to a soccer game, my father says it's like watching wet paint dry. Very, very, very long, drawn out, and boring. Anyone who loves soccer will disagree with my father, but that's my father's opinion, and he's sticking to it. But you're going to love it because it's so much more than soccer. Isn't it, Holly? It's just brilliant. It is I mean, if you guys like This Is Us is getting a little soap opera-y, where Ted is just amazing. It's just amazing. But let's cut This Is Us a break. They've been on for a lot of seasons. So the one thing with Ted Lasso that I'm hoping is that second and third season follow up with the juiciness and wonderfulness of the first season. So there's another show that I love called Better Call Saul, which is loosely based on a character. Well, it's based on a character from Breaking Bad. And Better Call Saul went for 5 seasons, but they've just announced that the 6th is their final one. And that makes me sad because every season is great. Every season is so good of Better Call Saul. So that's what I hope for Ted Lasso, is that every season will be good and make me go, when it ends, instead of, it's about time that one ends, you know? So yeah, so it's hard to keep it. That's why writing is so challenging. It's a challenge to make it, impactful and interesting every single season. Yeah. So Nate says, Kev always tells me I can watch our shows alone when we get busy, and then he'll watch them later, but I don't like doing that either. I always want to watch it with him too, especially if he likes it. I went ahead and went a few episodes ahead in Ted Lasso because I didn't want to. There's a couple of them that kind of end on a down note, and I wanted to end on an up note. That's all I'm going to tell you. And so I went in till there was an up note. And then when my husband wanted to watch them again, I watched them again because I love the show and I love watching it again. So I'm with Kev and I'm with Nate. Really fun to watch it together over a bowl of popcorn or whatever you're having, lunch or whatever. It's a lot of fun. Nate says he adores The Crown. Me too, for the most part. It's a lot of soft talking. So I have to be careful watching it at night, because if I watch it at night, I fall asleep. So, because they have that nice, warm tones and that soothing British accent, and the way you go, But if I'm awake, I usually try to watch it in the afternoon, so I'm bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I can see Jillian as Margaret Thatcher because she's so good this season. She's really, really good. The Queen is good, but she's had time to be good. This Margaret Thatcher is just the most fun new addition. I just love her. So yeah, she's amazing. Yum, yum, yum. Just gobble her up. She's so good. Leo says the final episode of season 1, he missed the end, but I know what he means. There's where that other letter is. WandaVision episode 8 drop day. Are you sure? Because I think it dropped last week. My husband said it was the last one last week, but I will check that. So I would love another episode. I hope you're right and not me, Leo. I want you to be right, because that means I got one I can watch on Saturday, which I'd love to do. But I think the last one was last week. I really do. But I'm hoping you're right. Have you watched Frank and Ollie on Disney Plus? So good. I'll bet it is. I knew Frank and Ollie and I loved them. So thank you for giving me a heads up, my girls, because I will make sure that I seek that out. I adore them. They've signed several books for me. They are really inspirational. So how fun is that? And that's what I love about Disney Plus. They're pulling out the stuff. They're pulling out stuff like dinosaurs I never thought I'd see again on a big screen. And they're also bringing stuff that we might never get to see. I love you, Disney, for doing that. Please keep it up. Show me the old stuff. Show me the new stuff. Show me the think tank, Wonderful World of Disney. wonderful to color, all of that. What do you got? I'll take it because I love it. I love it. Thank you for telling me about that. Joe is working for Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic. That is correct, Leo. And that's what I'm saying. So now what you do is you get with Richard Branson and you create the overall experience. Don't just make it a bunch of people jumping into a plane and going up. That's nice, but over deliver. And I'm really not too doubtful that Richard and Joe won't over deliver. They don't need me to tell them to over deliver. This is their natural state. Virgin Airlines was my favorite airline before he stopped it. And I'm heartbroken that he had to stop it. But because Virgin was my airline of choice. I love that. Especially if I was flying non-domestic. Domestic, a lot of times it would be Southwest, but if I wanted to be pampered, I always went with Virgin. And when he announced that they were no longer going to do it, it broke my heart. So I'm not going to lie to you. I love what they're doing. So I believe in them. I believe. Flight jacket seems a no-brainer. Yes, it does. But I'm going to say it anyway because I don't want to assume, because you know what happens when you assume. So who knows? Maybe, maybe Richard will be swinging by and he'll happen to tune in, or a friend will say, "Hey, Terri Hardin gave you a mention. She really loves space and she really bragged about your airline. She loves you and your work and your talent and blah, blah, blah." And who knows, he might give a listen. And so I'm going to say, yes, come up with a cool flight jacket, flight suit, or something that they can either purchase on the exit, or that's what I would do, is probably make it for purchase, because not everybody is going to care to have one. I know it sounds surprising, but not everyone is going to care to have one. But make sure everything has a detail, has fun, is special, makes it unique, because it's such a unique experience that you're going to want to make that extra special. So I just think you over deliver in every level. That's what I would do. And if I can be of service in any way, a special sculpture or something, or drawing or whatever, hit me up. See, I'm pretending that you really are listening to me. I don't care for malt, says Nate. I prefer a plain old shake. How's that, Nate? I love malt. Whoa! My favorite malt is pineapple. One summer I sold soft served ice cream and malts. I've never had a pineapple malt, Bob, but I love malt and I love pineapple, so maybe I'll try it. Somebody talked to me, my husband, and they said they love a drink called the Tootsie Roll. And it is, let me think, what did my husband say it was? It was, I think he said it was, I have to find out. If you remember, remind me, but it's like chocolate milk and orange juice or something, or Coke and orange juice, and it tastes just like a Tootsie Roll, they say. Or, yeah, I don't know. To me, the orange juice was, they were losing me at orange juice. So if you happen to Google this and find out the right ingredients, the thing that I can only remember really clearly is that it was a combination of orange juice. And the person said it tastes just like a Tootsie Roll. And I'm sitting there going, really? Coca-Cola and orange juice? Whoa. I think that's what they said. Coca-Cola and orange juice. I can't imagine it. But maybe I'll try it if I'm game. I love Tootsie Rolls, but that really sounds a little scary to me. Angie says, I think speeding is out of control here in Iowa. They have had reports of a number of people going over 100 miles an hour. Why? It's too scary. People like it. Angie, you and I, not our cup of tea, but my husband loved it when he was young. He used to really rock it out. He flew on F-16s and he did all of this super, sound barrier breaking speed. He loved it, which is one of the reasons when I offered, when we were getting a new car and I got a Mustang, I said we could, budget for the Shelby. But he said, I can't have a Shelby. I'll be in jail because I'll be speeding. So at least he knows his limitations. But he likes it. I just, no. I can't, I can't, I don't think people should be speeding in here. It's really great that they offer ways to speed on a track where you're safe and not jeopardizing other lives. Because there's a lot of people around here that have been speeding and they just don't pay attention. I was coming home yesterday from getting my hair done and I take a side street. I like to take a certain side street because the freeway is so crazy out here. But this guy obviously thought that me and the guy behind me were going too slow. Okay, so we're at an intersection and the light turns green, but we're not moving. And the reason we're not moving is because there was this homeless guy or a guy that I couldn't tell whether he was homeless or older or what, but he was shuffling through the intersection. So we were all waiting for him to get clear. Well, this guy 2 cars back says, screw that. And he comes around at like 50 miles an hour and speeds and barely misses this dude. Because he's angry at us for stopping. He thought we were all sightseeing. But we weren't. We were protecting. Thank goodness he didn't hit this guy. He was so close to this guy. The guy's clothes did whoosh, felt the breeze. And I know he probably got scared. I hope he really got scared because just an inch or two, he'd have taken that guy out. And so we've got to think that when things are stopped, don't just think people are not being smart or they're distracted. You have to see what's ahead. Because this guy, the light had turned green. He was finishing his crossing at an intersection that was now red for him. But what are you going to do? Run over him? This guy thought so. So we were all waiting and we were all just kind of trying to, because how the left turners turn right before the light changes, when you turn left. So they were all stuck. And so we were all just trying to let this guy get to the curb and then take turns so that we could figure out this mess that we were in on this side street. This guy wasn't having it. He passed through, nearly got this guy. And thank God he did not. But I'm sure it scared him. I'm going to say it did. And maybe he'll behave better later. Yes, they are. And I didn't know that about lionfish. Yes, that inner saboteur is usually the worst. And now I'm going to go down to Florida when I can go again and I'm going to eat lionfish because I want to try it. I love fish. I just didn't want to eat something endangered. They're not. You're actually helping the planet if you eat lionfish. So, okay, I'm game. Deanna says she's got to go. She says, happy to everyone. Enjoy their Monday. That's so sweet of Deanna, isn't it? Yes. So nice of her. It's wonderful. These stories are just beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Someone else crying. I will begin as well. Absolutely. All you have to do is have a tear and that'll make me cry. I can cry on cue a lot of times too. But I have to sing Dumbo's Baby of Mine in order to do that. If I sing it, my eyes will start to tear up. Wow, you guys are really vested. You guys are really commenting. I love you for that. Thank you. Hugs from the theme park gals as they go get ready for theirs. God works in mysterious ways, said Leo. Bingo, that's exactly what I was thinking. Kindness is the most beautiful thing. So you remember my thumbnail. Heart and kindness wins over everything, right? So, yep, that's it, guys. If you do something for someone else, and it does not have to be that, okay? It does not have to be that big a deal. You can tip the bill. Now, those of you who know me, you understand what this means. Tip the bill means you go into, let's say you're doing some outdoor dining because of the pandemic. and you have a cup of coffee and a Danish or whatever, you instead of tipping that percent, 15, 20, whatever, you tip the price of the bill. So let's say a cup of coffee and the Danish runs you $20. You tip $20 and pay 40. If you can afford it, it's going to blow your server away and it's going to touch them just as much as the person who did $2,000. Okay. It's a silent way you can do it. You can buy the coffee. If you're in line at Starbucks, it's $5 or whatever it is. You can say, let me take their order. And then when they pull up, they say the car in front of you paid the bill. No, what? And they don't even see you. So there's all kinds of really sweet things you can do. You can help somebody with their groceries. You can hold the door for somebody. That doesn't cost anything. And they're very grateful. They're very grateful. I remember seeing MJ Luzzy. I went up to see MJ at his work, and it was the pandemic, but my arms were completely full. And a guy saw me coming in the elevator, and he not only took the elevator, but he held the elevator for me. And then he pushed my button so that, the button for my floor so that I could, go up, because I was laden with stuff and didn't know quite how I was going to do it. And I thanked him profusely for being such a lovely person. I was sharing, but listened to the whole story, and that brought me to tears. You are truly a blessing to this world, my friend. 1 in a billion. Aw, thank you. That means that you don't necessarily have to see me act it out. You can listen, and it does the same benefit. Thank you for sharing that, Nate. Wow, this is a wonderful thing. I think God put you there exactly. That's what I mean, right? You sometimes in life you think you're the one that's in control, but are you? Are you really? Yeah, something. You see how it hits my chord too. So you guys are not alone. Thank you for saying that. I forgot this was AMA with that story. I felt like I was there. Thank you. Thank you very much. This week was supposed to be a speaker competition, but unfortunately the competition was during this AMA. And one of the things all my coaches have told me about about doing a YouTube channel, a Facebook channel, an Instagram, whatever, is to be as consistent as possible as you can. And the subscribers or the followers or whatever will come because you've got the wherewithal and the kindness to be there every single week as much as you can. So I could have reached out to all of you and said, I want to be in this competition, and we would not have met today. But I really believe that competition wasn't for me this time, because it happened during my Ask Me Anything. And it needs to happen when I'm not committed to you guys if it's going to work. Now, if I get a job where they're paying me, this is a contest, okay? And it's not that the contest is bad. It's just that, if somebody came to me and said, we're going to pay you a few thousand to work, with jobs being the way they are, then I might come to you. And then if I can do a live thing while on the job, I'm of course going to share that with you. But in this case, you can find all kinds of reasons to not show up. Oh, a contest this time, interview the next time, and whatever. And that's the same with my Sunday family day. I've got one incident where I've got to work on Sunday, so we're going to make a Saturday our family day for my husband, and I'm going to need to let him know. That happens in late March, and so I need to let him know that I'm going to have to switch it out a little bit. But I always tell him ahead of time with these appearances and these Zoom calls, so that he doesn't feel like I am stepping on his toes, because I promise him Sundays are family days. And these are kind of things you've got to have the integrity of doing. You can't always say, well, this is a really big opportunity. Well, if it is a seriously big opportunity, Elon Musk calls and wants me to help design, or Joe Rohde calls and wants to help me design, and Sunday is the only day. Okay, I think my husband would be in my corner on that. But that's not happening right now. That's not what's going on. So you got to let this person not feel like they're chopped liver, okay, just because they're family or whatever, right? Or you guys who are family too. This is important. And actions speak. It's important, okay? But I am a really good storyteller, and thank you for acknowledging that. Someone will find me when the time is right. That if I'm being moved around like a chess piece, others are too, and we'll find each other, and I'll have my own show. I'll have my own show soon, and I will meet Clint Eastwood. So it's all good. And Terry, another great thing you did was come to my home and help me with my health issues. You were a blessing, and I never forgot your kindness. Thank you, Bob. So Bob Burdine was struggling with several things, and at the time, and Rose was very concerned. And I had found a product that had made me healthy, Herbalife, and I shared it with him. And I actually gave them several free items from Herbalife, because I think if you believe in a product, you sample it out to somebody if they're really struggling. And it could be, it doesn't mean that Bob Burdine and Rose Burdine were struggling financially. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about with belief. Okay. They may say, well, it all sounds good, but how do we know it's going to work for me, type thing, you know? And so I gave them, I said, try it and let me know if you like it. If you don't like it, no harm, no foul. If you do like it, yay, you know? And that's the way that I work. So, especially since if you really are the concern of if you really are telling someone you're concerned for them, you'll do, if you can, you'll do whatever it takes to help them out. And then if they find that they like it, then you can say, okay, now, you know, it's up to you to maintain it. And they did. And it's been real good for Bob and Rose. It's been taking real good care of both of them. I have a friend who suffered from migraines all the time, and there's a product on the market called Prolox Blue that Herbalife provides. And for some reason, the number one was Nightworks, done by a medical doctor who discovered that nitric oxide helps you with circulation. Okay, and he won a Nobel Prize for medicine because of this. Dr. Lou Ignaro. You can Google Ignaro and see it, but he only sells it through Herbalife. Okay, it's called Nightworks. I love it. It's my favorite product. I work hard. Oh, that's so good. I work hard to drink it every night. But I had a friend who had migraines, but the problem is she's allergic to citrus. And the main ingredient that works with nitric is citrus. So it didn't work for her. But I then got with my friends and family of the Herbalife family, and they said Prolox Blue will work. So I sent her a bottle and said, try this. And she did not have migraines after that. As long as she worked with this supplement, the migraines went away. Now, I'm not saying that Herbalife cures, but sometimes a supplement helps the body heal itself, right? You know, a supplement, you get the right thing. People take supplements all the time. They can't all be bad. They can't all be wrong. But it does give the body what it needs to heal itself, and the body is an amazing instrument. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying Herbalife cures anything, but I am saying that supplements can be a big help to you in certain situations, right? And it doesn't have to be Herbalife supplements. It could be a supplement that, you know, what do you like that's a supplement that seems to be working for you? Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. There's a guy who really loves that vegetable, that green drink, and he says that really makes a change for him. I have another friend, I did a video, you can find it, about wheatgrass and the benefits of wheatgrass. And he taught me that all wheatgrass is not the same. Not all wheatgrass tastes like your lawn. So when you listen and, you know, you're curious and you listen, you can learn some really cool things, and maybe it works for you. Maybe it doesn't, you know. Nate says, you didn't hurt mine. I debating even saying it was me. No need to be sorry whatsoever. I know, Nate, you're such a good guy. And you know that with me, it's from my heart. If I ever say anything that's out of character, guys, please give me a grain of salt and know that's not what I meant. Mostly fruit salads and prep. Oh, but Michael, do you have a design that you do? Something that you're known for? And I know you may be gone because I'm a little late getting to this, but if you listen to it again, are you known for something? I know a lot of people, and I know who have them. Let's see. I know a lot of white people. I know who have them use beeswax to start them. Okay. Bob Marley and a lot of Jamaicans who use cow manure back some decades ago. Yeah, that must have been a great smell, right? There's a wax called dreading wax that I don't use, but my hairdresser uses dreading wax. It's a specific wax that then you use the heat of the hairdryer to lock it in place to begin. So that's what all this, look how gray that is. Woo, it looks so cool. Can't wait till it gets grayer. But it wants to do its own thing. See, I was hoping more salt, but right now it likes a lot of pepper. So I just got to not covet what I don't have. Love what I got. Nate says, I watched a documentary where Rita Marley talks about how she would not sleep in bed with Bob for the first few weeks after he would redo his. Yeah, can you imagine? You choke to death. You're like sleeping in a barn, right? And that's kind of gross. Can you imagine I'm sitting there signing autographs and you're like, ew, what is her cologne? Eau de manure. No, we don't want that. But some people do it for effect. Others, who knows why they do it, but I wouldn't be doing that. My husband says I have no sense of smell. That would be one of the reasons, but no. Thank you, Nate. Thank you. I agree with Bob. You're such a giving person, says Rose. When you came to La Puente to talk to youth here, you made them so happy. Those kids still remember that you were here to encourage them. I miss going to eat and hanging out with you. Me too. We'll have to do it. I'm serious. We need to plan a party after the pandemic is knocked to the curb. We got to figure out a central location we can all get together and have a party and eat and cheer and jump up and down and be happy, right? The kids of La Puente were very sweet. Many of the kids of La Puente weren't sure that I was going to have anything that was cool to say, right? But it turned out to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I wouldn't mind doing that again. I love kids. Love kids. I'm not seeing Bob's comments. Nate. Try and authorize StreamYard again. That might help. I can't wait. So hoping that things get better with COVID quicker than we think, and I can finally come to be a part of the process in person. Me too. Me too. But if not, we're going to have a lot of video together. Yeah, we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a really good time. I'm going to work it up in clay first, and then I'm going to work it up in wax. Yeah, I'm so excited. I love when I get a brainstorm like that, and I love that it's for you. Not the same thing. I meant they did the small ankles and no 3-point. So you were talking about how she was designed with the dress to help avoid that. But unfortunately, this maquette that I'm considering has small ankles, so they cracked like you were. I see. Okay, Nate. Yes, we're happy to help you. We're happy to help you with that. We may have to reinforce the legs in some way so she doesn't break. But that's what I'm talking about. And we don't know who sculpted this, right? And that person just may not understand the importance of 3 points because you got those little bitty ankles supporting that curvy lady. Not only is she curvy, she's curvy, bawamba. So, and she has a lot of hair too. So it's very hard that the hair that, maybe the sculptor thought the bust line balanced the hair, but it doesn't. It's too high. And so one good knock and it breaks. So we don't want that to happen. Because we want we want her to be safe. So that's what I'm talking about. So that's how your design came to fruition is I wanted you to have what you spoke to me about. And one of the things you suggested was handbags, but that's kind of like the cushions in the Haunted Mansion pirate bed, the first one I did. It felt like it was covering something up. It didn't really feel like it was part of the scene. So I thought it could work, but I thought there's got to be something better. And when I thought of Roger, I thought that would be cuter. And Roger has these wonderful big feet. He has rabbit feet. Being a rabbit, he has these wonderful big giant rabbit feet, and so he makes a great 0.3. He really does. And that way we can really have fun with our figure of Jessica. We can actually get a little more detailed because I came up with this idea of Roger helping her out a bit and it fits in the theme. So I'm a little proud of this. I can't wait to get it done. Create a definite one of kind. Good, because that's what you deserve. A definite one of a kind. And we'll share it on Zoom first. For the patrons, we'll announce it, and I can't wait till you go. Discus Maquette, when we chat, I have actually mentioned it being one of those items that we Regret not buying when we had the chance. It's back up for sale. Hey, well, grab it then. I'm more than happy to help you fix it. I'll have to charge you for the repairs, but you know that. So, but I'll get it to me, wrap it up real good, and send it to my address, and I'll have my guy look at it. Okay. Tennis and golf, I feel that way. Yeah, exactly. Pose just announced that due to the pandemic, their third season is their last. Oh, really? Do you like Pose, Nate? I haven't seen Pose. Do you like it? LOL, I can understand falling asleep if it's late. And soft, quiet talking. Okay, I actually have movies that I like that talk quietly. Like, for example, what was on today when I was watching it? Very quiet, because I have to have noise overnight, so we put TV on. But there are movies, and they're quiet movies. Oh, About Schmidt. I love that About Schmidt. Love it. And I know it so well that I go right out. And I love it. I love it. Dear Indugu. Oh, okay. Episode 9. See, Holly? There I go. There I go. I thought there was only 8 episodes, but look at that. Surprise. Yay. Well, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. So good. We may have to wait later before we create spoilers. Just Google last episode of WandaVision. It notes air date March 5th. I know what I'll watch tomorrow. Bonnie, yes. See, Bonnie, I'm not a Marvelite. So thank you, Marvelites, for keeping me steady. Like I said, I hoped you all were right, because I'd love to see another episode. That was an amazing shake. Thank you, Nate. Some people might want to purchase a flight suit, spacesuit without going up. Don't know if they could do that. And if they did, it would have to be something different. Okay. Maybe it's a lesser version of the spacesuit, more sporty, like maybe, so that you can differentiate those who went up and those who did not. Okay. Yeah. So, that's what I think. But then if you need a lot of money, you could just maybe give them a special patch that they can put on their arm. Like my husband found that NASA coffee, as in the stuff you drink, actually has a patch. And I was like, he was trying to get me one, but you have to be someone who prepares coffee for NASA to get one. But I would have loved to have had that on my arm. So yay, absolutely yay. Biggest pet peeve, inconsiderate drivers is what I say. And there's a ton of them, Bonnie. There's a ton. You got to drive like you're in a Hummer. You got to watch out, because these people are not paying attention. They change lanes without signaling. They speed, they slow down, they stop. They go from the number 1 lane, which is the innermost lane, all the way over to the off ramp like this in front of you. And you're like, holy moly. You have to be so careful. You have to be so careful. I was saying to my husband the other day, you have to be aware of not only your distance from the car in front of you, but you need to give yourself enough distance in case the car in back of you can't stop and you want to bump forward, so that you avoid the accident, and they do too. This is a lot of thinking while you're driving, but I do this all the time. And it's very important, because there are distracted drivers out there. And if they should suddenly slam on the brakes and you see they're not going to make it, if you've given yourself in front, you can scoot up, and it saves you both hours of headache, doesn't it? So, yeah, I think that's the way we should be thinking. Joining in late says Ava. We'll have to go back and watch and catch up. Hope everyone is having a great day. We are. It's been a lot of fun. You're really going to enjoy this one, Ava, because it's really good. Rose says, I want to say that Bob has been very generous with tips when we go pick up food from the small restaurants in our city. We know they need help. They get so happy. They do. They do. I mean, they get happy because you tip. Okay, period. I mean, it could be 5% and they're happy because you're tipping at all. This is what I've discovered. And tomorrow is our day to go out. We have 1 day a week to eat out at a restaurant. The rest of the week I cook. for one reason, I can't regulate the salt content or things like that, and we have to regulate the salt. And the other last and so last Saturday we had pizza because my husband loves pizza, and there's a pizza he really loves, and I know the salt is like way high. But if you limit it to one day, if that's your restaurant day, then you don't worry about it too much. You can't make it a staple though. Yes, you did. We still buy Herbalife. It really helps us. Thank you. Yes, it's a great product. I still eat it. Yeah, still do. Here's like the tea. This is the energy tea. See, there's the logo right there. I'm still very avid about Herbalife. Yeah, I love it. It's just good stuff. Takes good care of me. It's what fits for me. Okay. We have a dear friend where Weight Watchers just does it for him. Another friend where Atkins is the magic bullet. So whatever it is you do, just keep with it, keep going. And congratulations for putting your health first, no matter what you use. Okay. It's not a battle. My Herbalife is better than your Weight Watchers. No, don't even get into that. That's a silly argument. Just know that you if you cook for yourself, if you need a little help, like I like the supplements from Herbalife, then it's all good. Whatever keeps you looking at your health. Dennis Ritchie joined us earlier. He tried Herbalife in the beginning. It just wasn't for him. It didn't work for him. Now, it doesn't mean that the product doesn't work. It's just how this method works, how the plan works. Sometimes it's the plan that doesn't work for you, not the product. Okay. So then you look ahead, and a lot of you, it may just be that it makes you do it a little bit, whatever it is. Then you realize the portion control. You realize you can shop a certain way and have good foods, and you're great. Also, I think you need to cut yourself a little bit of slack. Not everybody needs to be a size 4 supermodel. Okay. Curvy girls are beautiful. I like being a 12. I'd like to be a little bit more toned 12, but I love being a size 12. I can get clothes anywhere and everywhere. I think size 12 is a good size for someone 63 years old. It just fits me so well. And I like it. I like it. I like being a size 12, but I could stand to tone up a little bit. My strength training is in need of some help. So I need to do that. I have to be careful though, because I am an older person and I went to a gym and they've injured my shoulder, and I can do this, but I cannot support, like I can't do a push-up. Even a girly push-up is too hard on my shoulder. So I have to do other stuff. Yoga really helps. So that's what I do. Yeah. So you got to know that it's specific. You can't, somebody hurt me because I thought a gym would be a good idea and he just pushed me too hard. And I'm one of those people who try it once, and that was all it took for this shoulder. I wake up and it's pained sometimes, and it's not so painful that I can't do anything, but it's painful enough to make me aware that it's there. I've been listening to more podcasts that the real secret to being healthy is gut health. I agree. But just remember, what is healthy may not always be healthy for you and your specific gut. Yes, Bonnie makes a good point here. But I think she's onto something. I think I have an amazing probiotic that I love. And it really is great. It really does help that gut health to be good. Probiotics help with that. Yeah. So I agree. I agree, Bonnie. I think that's a good. Leo says, have a great weekend. And Terry, you're going to enjoy episode 8 of season 1, WandaVision. I watched it at 2 a.m. So you see what I mean, Holly? Is it 8? Is it 9? Who cares? It's a new one. So thank you, Leo. Yes, I'm going to love it. I can't wait. I can't wait to tell my husband, because we thought they were done. So we weren't even going to look. So we're excited. See, I love talking to you guys because you keep me on point. Thank you so much. I do know who sculpted it. It's actually one of the art proofs of Henry Alvarez. Oh my gosh. Bronze I know Henry. Henry and I go way back. Oh my gosh, that's nice, Nate. Yeah, if the price is right, grab it. And we'll do right by you and Henry. Yeah, Henry Alvarez. Yeah, he's a talent. He was a talent. Yeah. Awesome. Henry and I, way back. Absolutely, I would never expect any work for free. I know you wouldn't. You never do. The WandaVision finale dropped today, and it's actually episode 9. See what I mean? Leo's very good. He's very good at getting it going. And that's the finale. Why did they do episode 9 as a finale? Is it a Marvel thing? They can't do 10? Did the pandemic hit and they couldn't do 10? What's the story on that, guys? Why not 10? Just a question. Why? Because I'm curious. Almost 4 hours. Soon you're going to need a potty break. Yeah, I am. I'm at 3 hours 48. I'm going to finish this up and then I'll say goodbye. But you're the best. Love you for doing this. Yes, Angie, I sit and we chat as long as there's questions. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. That's the final comments. And I'm out. So, like I said before, Walt Whitman, be curious, not judgmental. Okay. And if you find yourself on the end where everyone is making assumptions about you, judgments about you, know that they should be being curious and that you have that secret. Okay. And as I always say at the end of these broadcasts, be kind to someone else. It's going to make you feel so much better, isn't it? Thank you for being kind to me. I love you for hanging with me, those of you that did. And hopefully you'll come back and revisit this. But I guess I'm off to tell my husband there's another WandaVision. Whoop, whoop. Wow. Take care, everyone.